be afraid. Try to frighten you to do that is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Rebuilding Civil War-ravaged Syria will be an expensive proposition, according to the World Bank.
The conflict had destroyed large swathes of the country and battered critical infrastructure, including its electricity grid. The World Bank says the rebuilding may cost between $140 billion and $345 billion, but their conservative best estimate is $216 billion. World Bank Middle East Director Jean-Christophe Carr says the challenges ahead are immense, but the institution stands ready to work alongside the Syrian people and the international community to support recovery and reconstruction. I'm Charles Tuladesma.
At least 46 people have been killed in a highway crash in western Uganda. Two buses collided while trying to overtake other traffic. The crash happened overnight. It also involved two other vehicles, according to authorities. News and analysis, townhall.com. Well, researchers now offering a new take on a Chicago curiosity, the so-called rat hole.
They now conclude some other critter was likely responsible for creating the sidewalk landmark. The rat hole was a full-body impression of a small creature crossing wet cement. The imprint closely resembled a rat, hence the nickname. Someone filled it in last year, but the city preserved the slab. Researchers have studied the imprint and conclude it was a muskrat or a squirrel, not a rat. Well, rats. Jason Walker reporting.
Warner Brothers Discovery, it's the home of HBO, CNN, and DC Studios, has signaled that it may be open to selling all or parts of its business. This development comes just a matter of months after it unveiled plans to split into two companies. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning to all of our friends across the John Fredericks Media Network. We are broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. It's time for the Morning Rundown, which is brought to you every day at this time by our good friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com. It's located just a few miles from the airport, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So here we go. Here is the Morning Rundown for Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. Number one, J.D. Vance, Vice President of the United States, is in Israel working on phase 2 of the peace deal, and MSNBC, MS Now, MS Never, former Biden press secretary Jen Psaki is insulting his wife, Usha Vance. Yeah, we've got the clip. It's pretty disgusting. Number two, ICE resistance is going crazy in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago. Phil Klein, professor of law at Liberty University, former attorney general for Kansas, will weigh in. They have crossed the line. It's individual illegal aliens that are resisting, and they're being aided and abetted by some citizens and some local government officials there. What's going on with that? Number three, Memphis residents are very happy with Donald Trump, the National Guard, and the federal task force cleaning up crime in that city. Number four, Marsha Blackburn praises the Democrat mayor of Memphis, Paul Young, for cooperating. Very well done. Number five, Tom Pappert, on the illegal alien from Honduras, arrested for a crime spree here in Nashville. We'll talk about with Tom at the bottom of this hour. Number 6, in hour 2, hey, this is interesting. There is a property tax revolt in the state of Ohio. It might spread to other states, including right here in Tennessee. Tom Zalstowski will join us to talk about that. Number 7, in hour 3, the very best Trump impersonator in the world, Sean Farash, will join us. And we'll hear from 47 in the first segment of hour 3 about that grand ballroom he's building. Why are the Democrats whining so much about it? It's an improvement, right? And then after that, when it's Sean, only Sean, we'll talk about the crazy political situation in New York City, New York State. Number 8, the shutdown continues. It's day 22. Democrats seem to think it's a great idea. Nobody else does. And we've got this clip. Refugees from Somalia and Congo and Burma are complaining at a public meeting in Tucson, Arizona, that the shutdown means they're not getting any free food. It's so sad. Number 9, we've got a poll out about changes within those who are 18 to 29 years old. So it's a busy day. It's going to be a fun day. We are delighted you are here to join us. And the Morning Rundown, as you know, is brought to you by our friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com. Did you know that in addition to selling more Glock handguns than any other retailer in the country, they also give away more Glocks than any other retailer? They continually run sweepstakes that give away Glocks, and this month is no exception. At the Glock Store, October is Glocktober, and they are giving away the winner's choice of any stock factory Glock handgun. That's up to a $620 value, and it's all free, including shipping to your nearest FFL. Now, the easiest way to enter is just buy one of the GS limited edition pumpkin-themed stickers or patches. You'll then be automatically entered into the sweepstakes, 1 entry per sticker and 2 entries per patch. There's complete information as well as a no-cost entry method on the Glocktober giveaway page at glockstore.com/GG. This is all brought to you by our good friend Lanny McGill, founder and CEO of the Glock Store. It's not enough that he's known all over the world as that Glock guy. Now he's getting known as that Glock giveaway guy. If you've always wanted a Glock, and especially a free Glock, visit glockstore.com today. So there you go. That's our morning rundown brought to you by the Glock Store. Now, Jen Psaki. She's really not a nice person. And I think there are a number of rules of politics. You never criticize a political candidate's spouse. And Usha Vance is a very accomplished person. She's a graduate of Yale undergrad, has a Yale law degree, had a very accomplished legal career. She was a law clerk, a Supreme Court Justice clerk for John Roberts. This is a very smart person. And I don't know what Jen Psaki's doing here. Now, have we searched this over for bad words? Have we searched it over for bad words? We're going to be on a bad word alert. We'll be ready. We'll play it right now. But just if suddenly it stops, you know there's been a bad word. Because apparently in parts of this, there are some bad words from Jen Psaki. So let's go and we'll cross our fingers that we've caught the bad words. Here we go.
I think the little Manchurian candidate, J.D. Vance, wants to be president more than anything else.
Yeah.
I always wonder what's going on in the mind of his wife. Like,
Agreed.
Are you okay? Please blink 4 times.
Yes.
We'll come over here. We'll save you. And that he's willing to do anything to get there.
Okay, so what a condescending, mean-spirited person Jen Psaki is. I mean, you kind of knew this all along. Why is she insulting the former law clerk for Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts, implying that somehow she can't escape from a bad marriage? She's making all that up. Very nasty. Ugh. But that's where the Democrats are today. Apparently that podcast she does that on, she's got like 1 million followers. They're all like angry. What does E.J. Haas call them? Awful, angry white females ultra liberal. Is that it? Something like that. Suburban. Anyways, they are pretty awful in terms of these leftists. And she's a great example of that. Okay, here's the other thing. Refugees are complaining that the shutdown means they're not getting any free food. Here's a report from a news location in Tucson, Arizona. Clip 2.
Welcome back. Major changes are coming for those who rely on SNAP, the federally funded program that helps low-income people buy food. Eligibility cuts are a requirement from the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill now. And News 4 Tucson's Tefet Serrato attended a Board of Supervisors meeting today where some local refugees expressed concerns that they may lose those benefits.
Inside the public hearing room here behind me, some refugees told the Pima County Board of Supervisors today they're worried these changes will take away or put up some serious roadblocks for these benefits.
Okay, let me just stop for a moment. I did a lot of writing on the refugee resettlement program, and it's been around since 1980, and there's a whole legal process you go through. Under Barack Obama and Joe Biden, most of these people that were coming from third world hellholes. There's no other word to describe them, but they were not assimilating well in the United States. And the refugees in that room whining about it were largely from Burma, Congo, and Somalia. Right? And what are they whining about? Well, if you come in, there's like an 8-month period under the program where you get government assistance. Apparently, they've been able to maneuver it so they get more and more and more government assistance longer than 8 months, longer than they should. The number of refugees that have come in the last 8 months, it's only 25,000. There's only 500 in Arizona. I think almost all of them were in that room looking for more handouts from the federal government. Look, the shutdown is ridiculous, but I will tell you this, there are a lot of programs that should be cut, and endless free food for refugees from countries that hate us, that are here in the United States because we are the greatest country in the world. Yeah, I'm not going to be unhappy if that ends. When we come back, Phil Klein joins us. What's going on with this ICE resistance at the state and local level? Back after this.
Attorney General Miyares and John Fredericks talk about skill games.
They're unregulated slot machines.
They pop up in 7-Elevens in every corner of Virginia.
The General Assembly has spoken on this.
Skill games.
These things are illegal.
It's the Wild Wild West. Fights break out. Robberies increase.
Skill games.
They prey on the less fortunate.
I say it's a tax on the poor.
They're breaking the law.
My job is to enforce the law. These machines are not allowed.
Enforce the law and get them out of there.
When you see skill games, call the local sheriff.
These things are illegal.
Paid for by Churchill Downs.
Why is Purple Wave Auction the fastest growing heavy equipment marketplace? Our full service online auctions take the hassle out of buying and selling farm, construction, and fleet equipment. Thousands of business owners partner with Purple Wave each month to manage their equipment. Sellers count on our experienced professionals to handle the marketing, paperwork, and payments. And bidders trust in a marketplace free of reserves and hidden fees. Purple Wave is the turnkey online auction service you've been looking for. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
You went to school, got the job, saved your money, but still feel stuck. There's a better path. At the Lifestyles Unlimited 2-day seminar in Richmond, November 8th and 9th, you'll learn how to create cash flow and build wealth with real estate. Step by step. It's simple, it's proven, and it works. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. That's Richmond, November 8th and 9th. Text RADIO to 88007.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Football season is heating up on Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. So don't miss any of the action this season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code ROAM and get $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code ROAM on Prize Picks to get $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
I'm Chanel Sheeran, and I'm honored to share a special invitation on behalf of Senator Mark Pody. Mark would like to personally invite you to his community re-election kickoff this Saturday, October 25th from 11 to 2, right here in Lebanon. Go to markpody.com. This is a time to gather as neighbors, celebrate our values, look ahead to all God has in store for our future together. We're also excited to welcome Dr. Ben Graham, appointed by President Trump as Faith Director in Washington, D.C. As your current state senator, Mark leads with faith at the center of everything he does. He stands firmly for faith, family, and freedom, supporting our schools, teachers, protecting our children, and community safety. So bring your friends, your family, and your faith, and come celebrate with us on October 25th. Together, through our diligence and prayer, we can keep Tennessee strong. Paid for by Campaign Mark Pody, Kristen Hibden, Treasurer.
Now more than ever, President Trump needs battle-tested conservatives fighting alongside him to save our country. That's why Trump endorsed Matt Van Epps for Congress. West Point grad, 9 combat tours, decorated Army vet. Matt Van Epps has devoted his life to defending America and the conservative values we cherish. Endorsed by Trump, fearless conservative. Tennessee's Matt Van Epps for Congress. School Freedom Fund is responsible for the content of this ad.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We welcome to our Zoom newsmaker line right now our very good friend for many years, the former Attorney General for the state of Kansas, now a leading expert on law in the country and a professor of law at Liberty University, my good friend, Phil Klein. Phil, I'm listening to the news today, and there's a couple of very concerning reports about resistance to federal law enforcement officers, ICE, enforcing immigration law. One incident in Los Angeles where an illegal alien social media influencer rammed his vehicle into ICE officers. Shots were fired. This is the same guy that had been praised by, I think, the Board of Supervisors there. And then New York City, yesterday, apparently a bunch of illegal aliens have been conducting an illegal market in a portion of downtown Manhattan. And when the ICE guys came in and arrested them, the local crowd kind of went crazy. I don't know. I remember something called the Supremacy Clause in the Constitution. What's going on here, Phil Klein?
Well, the federal government cannot force states to enforce federal law, but also the state government, if it impinges or tries to prevent federal forces from enforcing federal law, the president has some options, and that's what you've been seeing lately, Michael, with the mobilization of the National Guard to protect federal property and to assist ICE agents in the enforcement of the law. The president is on strong legal ground there. And the states And particularly state leadership in California and New York have taken extraordinary action to prevent the enforcement of federal law. And every step they take further supports the president engaging more directly with the use of the National Guard. You know, one of the things these states have done is they've refused to honor requests for detaining potential illegal immigrants. That's a request for voluntary assistance to hold somebody 48 hours after their release date if they were detained under state law, so that ICE and the federal government can have an opportunity to present a case that they are illegally in the nation. Both California and New York have said, we're not going to do that. And that makes it much, much more difficult. And in California, they are preventing ICE access to their jails. So a lot of these people who may have committed crimes or are being held for other reasons, ICE doesn't have the opportunity to fully vet and to act to deport them if they are in this nation illegally. So this conflict's going to continue. You will see the president trying to continue to use his tools. California and New York and various third-party organizations have sued the administration. They are losing on most of these issues as it relates to the ability to assert federal authority to enforce federal law.
You know, I'm wondering, Phil, where does all this go? Because to me, it looks like this is an utter rejection of the concept, the fundamental concept of federalism in our Constitution by blue state governors and blue state mayors, particularly California Governor Newsom, Illinois Governor Pritzker, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. It's almost as if they say, you know, we're really not part of the United States of America, and we are not bound by immigration laws, which says if you're here illegally, you can be deported. Where does this go, Phil?
Well, Mike, I'm one who has supported state rights. I believe the federal government has had a heavy hand primarily through funding on things like education and in other areas of policy that ought to be left to the states. So I generally defend states in expressing their policy choices. But this involves some non-controversial cooperation between law enforcement that enhances safety for everybody. And to refuse to assist law enforcement in carrying out its job is not a protection of individual liberty and rights. It actually puts them in greater danger. And I don't think that there is real concern on the left as it relates to that issue with some of the leaders who know better, because it actually places these detainees in riskier situations as well as ICE agents in riskier situations. When there is non-cooperation, when those who have the detail and knowledge on the ground of what is happening are not communicating with federal agents who are arriving to try to enforce federal law, that is a real concern. When you have policemen who are saying that they had stand-down orders and to not respond to an expression of violence against ICE agents, that's deeply concerning. That becomes almost to the level of obstruction rather than civil disobedience or saying we're taking a different policy and not engaging in and participating in these acts. There's a big difference between we're not participating and we're going to obstruct.
You know, it's interesting because you mentioned the 10th Amendment. There's a famous phrase, I think it's from Justice Louis Brandeis, in a dissent, I think, in a major case back in 1939, where he describes states as now what they're called laboratories of democracy. The exact quote was, quote, "A single courageous state may, if its citizens choose, serve as a laboratory and try novel social and economic experiments without risk to the rest of the country," end quote. The problem is there's a risk to the rest of the country if they're harboring illegal aliens. Your thoughts on that, Phil Klein?
Well, I think that the policy choices in California and New York are irresponsible. Now, that does not mean that I would say that they are illegal or unconstitutional. And they have the ability to exercise these choices. But generally, the way they're approaching it, I disagree with. And additionally, it is actually strengthening the president's hand in getting the National Guard involved in enforcing federal law and protecting federal facilities because of the lack of cooperation that the state is providing. And overall, from a law enforcement perspective, the refusal to cooperate places citizens in danger as it relates to the actions that are being taken.
Phil,
and that is irresponsible.
Before we get out, I want to ask this very important question. Think about it for a minute. Is the social compact that we have here in the United States based upon our Constitution, is it falling apart in blue states right now as we speak?
Well, I think it's been tested also in red states. You know, the sanctuary program has occurred for the Second Amendment. It's occurred for pro-life sanctuaries, as the sanctuaries for illegal aliens have occurred. So you see a lot of pushback and a lot of stress right now. And our nation is being radicalized. And we've talked about this, Mike, because much of this is being driven by foreign money, billionaire money, into nonprofits that are radicalizing political expression in the United States.
Yeah, the foreign money thing is a big problem. There's a report that a lot of the protesters, if this No King's Day thing on Saturday, were paid through NGOs largely from foreign money. I haven't confirmed that, but, you know, Senator Ted Cruz has said, you know, if that's happening, we got to stop it. Your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, it was organized by Indivisible. Indivisible received close to $7 million from George Soros. And that's the tip of the iceberg as it relates to the flow of foreign money to radicalize expression in the United States. We have an Indivisible Lynchburg just 30 miles down the road, and they are funded by the national organization, trained by the national organization, which receives these international monies. So, yes, it's a serious concern.
Phil Klein, as always, on point. Really appreciate your analysis. Well done. Thanks for joining us, Phil.
Thank you, Michael.
All right. When we come back, Tom Pappert, Savannah Chrisley's at it again here, giving Lipscomb Academy here a hard time about, I don't know, the treatment of Charlie Kirk supporters. Back after this.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Warning, if you're thinking about surgery to fix your chronic joint pain, stop, because surgery can be risky, painful, and come with a lengthy recovery time. But there is an alternative, a groundbreaking therapy that revitalizes damaged tissue with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. QC Kinetics has successfully treated tens of thousands of patients, freeing them from pain in their knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints. Before you resort to invasive surgery, find out if you're a candidate for this advanced regenerative therapy by calling 757-239-3518. Don't let chronic pain dictate your life any longer, and don't risk surgery. Learn more about the joint pain therapy endorsed by professional athletes and available now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. To find out if you're eligible, request a free consultation from QC Kinetics. You owe it to yourself to learn more about this surgery-free alternative with no drugs and no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today, 757-239-3518, 757-239-3518.
Get in. We're stealing homes. We're not like those other home criminals that steal your stuff. We steal your hard-earned home equity. We find your property online from the public record. Got it. Create a deed transfer that makes us the homeowners. Got it. And borrow tons of cash against your equity, and you won't know till the foreclosure notice hits months later.
Just go to HometitleLock.com/Godzilla. Protect yourself.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at CreeksidePetHotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges, no charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
This is Michael Patrick Leahy. Join Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, and Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs and me at T-Bones and Politics 2025 on the evening of November 10th in Murfreesboro for a night of great food, good fellowship, and inspiring political speeches. Get your tickets now. They're going fast at tbonesandpolitics2025.com. This is a great annual event. This year, musical entertainment will be provided by the Tremolo Honey Band. If you haven't heard them before, they are absolutely fantastic. This special event is sponsored by Barrett Firearms, Old South SRM, Moody Excavating, Azure Flight Management, and SEC Engineers. So go right now to tbonesandpolitics2025.com and get your tickets for T-Bones and Politics. It's an evening of great food and fun on November 10th. I'll see you there. Paid for by Joe Pack, William Ronsley, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Well, we have a lot of stories to cover that are Tennessee-based here right now with Tom Pappert, our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network. Let's begin with one that's kind of interesting. You followed it. We thought that this kind of had come and gone, but apparently there's a lot more to it. So Lipscomb Academy is a Church of Christ K-12 school here in Nashville. Been around for a long time. We know a lot of people that attend that school. And it's part of Lipscomb University. It was all founded by one of the leading Church of Christ theologians in the late 19th century, right here in Nashville, David Lipscomb. But there's some controversy about it. Bring everybody up to speed on what happened, and then the latest development from Savannah Chrisley. Yes, that's Savannah Chrisley. Her parents were in prison, got a pardon on alleged fraud charges. Trump pardoned him. Apparently her little sister goes to this school. That's kind of where she's, what her level of interest is in it. So bring us up to speed on this, Tom.
Well, Michael, it, of course, all began on September 11th, one day after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. A group of students at the upper school, the high school, at Lipscomb Academy wanted to wear suit jackets and red ties in order to honor Charlie Kirk. And the administration responded by rounding these kids up, taking them to the administrator's office and telling them that they were out of dress code and their attire was inappropriate. Well, they initially denied this. They later admitted it. They claimed they were going to hold a chapel service for these kids. It took place over a month later, and it only lasted 23 minutes. And in the midst of all this, the administrator who initially made that decision was reassigned. And the faculty was so annoyed by this, so bent out of shape that somebody who was punishing Charlie Kirk fans gets reassigned, that they organized not one, but two protests in the school. One of them saw the Bible teacher deliver a pro-LGBT speech, allegedly, and then put on his overhead projector, "I am not teaching today," and force the children to sit in silence. So all of this, according to Savannah Crisley, represents a abandonment of the Church of Christ foundation that the school, Lipscomb Academy, and Lipscomb University are built on. And in fact, she said in a recent appearance on The Benny Show that if you look at the deed originally signed by David Lipscomb and his wife in 1904, it specifically mandates that the school must maintain a strict theological education. And if that should ever change, then the deed would revert to the heirs of David Lipscomb. Interestingly, he died without any adult children, but he had lots of brothers and sisters, Michael. And I did a little bit of research. None of these people are really public figures, but they do exist. There are heirs that are extant, and they seem to live in Tennessee.
Okay, so the will, basically, he gave the land on which David Lipscomb Academy sits and David Lipscomb University, Lipscomb Academy, Lipscomb University. It's a pretty, it's right smack dab in the downtown Nashville, in a very, very high-end part of town. And it's a very large number of acres, very, very prominent area. It's not the schools that the heirs would have access to. It would be the land ownership on which the schools are built. Is that right?
That's exactly right. My understanding is that they have almost exclusively built on this land that was originally deeded in 1904. So if this challenge were to come about, as Savannah Crisley said, she claimed that she's been in touch with some of these heirs. If this challenge were to come about and be successful, my understanding is Lipscomb Academy would lose access to much of its campus. I don't know, maybe they could rent it back from the heirs.
Well, yeah, I mean, be something like that. But it's interesting. Have you had a chance to talk with the general counsel for Lipscomb University? Because this is all part of one entity, right? Lipscomb University also owns and operates Lipscomb Academy, all in this one really big campus right here in Nashville.
Right. They share campuses, they share facilities, they share branding. We reached out to Lipscomb University and Lipscomb Academy. We reached out to a spokesperson who has been very communicative with us in the past as we've covered this Charlie Kirk controversy and their response to it. We did not receive a response, interestingly enough, to this inquiry.
It's interesting because now you get into, wills, estates, all that sort of thing. There'd be huge interest here by the, I suppose you might say, the establishment, the Lipscomb establishment here, which is well connected to the leadership of Nashville. They would fight it tooth and nail in court. I think it would be obviously a bit of a long shot. But, I mean, if you look at the words in that deed as represented here, if the heirs, and look, it's 1904, I suppose the heirs would be the descendants of his brothers or siblings. That's a long time ago. I mean, there's probably, 3-4 generations down the pike. How many of them are there? Would they all agree on it? I mean, it would be a complex litigation with, I think, not really high chances of winning, but, if they file a lawsuit in court, the Lipscomb University would have to respond. How serious is Savannah Crisley in kind of being the leader on such an effort?
Well, I think that Chrisley is very engaged with the other members of the Lipscomb Academy community. As you pointed out, she has a sister there, but I think she is networking with many other parents in the community. And I think it's entirely possible that some of these heirs, though not in the board of trustees, not employed at either the university or the academy, I think it is very likely that some of these heirs are still in the wider Lipscomb community. I think we will know how serious this could become if and when we see one of these heirs potentially give a quote to the Tennessee Star or another news outlet. Until then, it does seem a bit hypothetical.
Yeah, also the problem of, let's say there's 30 lineal heirs right now. Getting them all on the same page, I think that would be a challenge, I think. And the law might require all of them to be on that same page. It might. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but it's fascinating. Well, we've got another story about a university here in Nashville. This one, Vanderbilt University, which, by the way, is, thanks to Diego Pavia, just beat LSU. And they're ranked, I think, in one poll in the top 10. They're like 6-1. They're already bowl eligible. So congratulations to the Vanderbilt University football team. You've got a story. Vanderbilt University denies Trump administration asked to sign compact to ban race-based admissions, define genders, limit foreign students. What's that all about?
Now, it's interesting, Michael. This is another opportunity potentially to compliment Vanderbilt because they seem to be being the most forthright of any of the 9 universities and colleges that were asked by the Trump administration to sign this. It's called the Compact for Academic Excellence in Higher Education. It would ban DEI. It would ban race-based admissions. It would strictly define gender. It would put a cap on foreign student enrollment. And interestingly enough, it would put a 5-year freeze on tuition for American students, so a little bit of relief for young people from the Trump administration. 6 schools so far have come out and said, we don't want anything to do with this. These are some of the usual suspects, UVA, Dartmouth, MIT, Brown, Penn, and USC. But Vanderbilt came out and said the reporting on this is inaccurate. We have not yet been asked to sign the compact. We've been asked to give feedback. And they said that they're happy to continue giving feedback to the Trump administration. This, again, 6 schools have denied it. The only school that has gone further than Vanderbilt and expressed some enthusiasm is really the University of Texas at Austin, who brought the matter to the state board for the University of Texas, and they all seem very interested in it. The University of Arizona also sort of offered a non-committal statement similar to Vanderbilt, saying they have yet to sign the draft order, but only Vanderbilt seems to be interested in kind of correcting the story and saying we were never even asked to sign. We were asked for feedback. We've reached out to the Trump administration to see if this is true, but if so, good for Vanderbilt and good for their communication department for being honest. That's all we ask for on the right. That's all we want.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And look, I do think, at various times in the past, Vanderbilt University has sort of made some decisions that didn't make a lot of sense from a conservative perspective. But I think, in the past year or so, we've seen some signs that Vanderbilt University itself is returning a little bit to the land of common sense. I say this cautiously, a little bit to the land of common sense. Your thoughts, Tom Pappert?
Yeah, knock on wood, right? Because we know that they scrubbed a DEI page about 5 days after Trump got into office. They were under investigation from the Department of Education. And then just recently, after a video came out claiming to show faculty members describe how they defy Trump's executive orders, they took kind of an unprecedented step and they said, we're not just launching an internal investigation. We are hiring an independent law firm who's going to dig into this and figure out what's going on.
Right?
So it does seem like they're trying to improve.
By the way, let's just say, and I want you to come back and talk about the illegal alien from Honduras on a crime spree here in Nashville, and then also the illegals that were arrested in Memphis. I'm going to say this. It would be really wonderful. I love the quarterback's grit here in Vanderbilt, Diego Pavia. They're ranked 10th in one poll. It would be just beyond fantastic if Vanderbilt University and the University of Tennessee got into that the final 12 that would compete for the national championship. That would be a lot of fun. So we're rooting for him. Tom, when you come back, illegal aliens in Nashville and in Memphis. Back after this.
Is a record player the best way to listen to music? Of course not. So why are you still taking vitamins in pill form that haven't been upgraded since the 1930s? Even if you don't have trouble swallowing, most vitamins in pill form can't be absorbed very well. It's time to upgrade to the pill-free future of vitamins. Advanced nutrition company, Healthy Cell, created a patent-pending ingestible gel that is clinically proven to have 265% the absorption rate of tablets. These physician-formulated supplements come in a small gel pack. You tear off the top and shoot it down. You can also mix it in water. They taste great, they're convenient on the go, and they're more natural too, without chemical binders, fillers, and coatings. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com. HEALTHYCELL.com.
It's simple. No worker should ever be forced to pay money to a union boss just to get or keep a job. That's why hard-working Virginians overwhelmingly support right to work and agree that forced unionism is wrong. The good news is Republican gubernatorial candidate Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl-Sears has pledged 100% to defend Virginia's popular right to work law and the economic opportunity that it provides. Unfortunately, her opponent, Abigail Spanberger, can't say the same. In Congress, Spanberger repeatedly co-sponsored legislation that would have wiped out every right to work law in the country, including Virginia's. Her record shows she supports big labor's agenda and their plan to repeal Virginia's popular right to work law. It's time for Abigail Spanberger to change her ways and apologize for support of forced unionism. Call Abigail Spanberger now and urge her to pledge to protect Virginia's right to work law. 804-223-0770. Here's what Governor Glenn Youngkin had to say.
We have to protect right to work.
This ad was paid for by the National Right to Work Committee.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Mandami visited a very controversial Brooklyn mosque just months after the imam there called for the annihilation of Israel. Your thoughts?
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party to confront this kid with his own background. He's a rabid socialist.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
He gave the finger to the Columbus statue.
Right. I can't almost think of any group he hasn't offended.
Why is Purple Wave Auction the fastest growing heavy equipment marketplace? Our full service online auctions take the hassle out of buying and selling farm, construction, and fleet equipment. Thousands of business owners partner with Purple Wave each month to manage their equipment. Sellers count on our experienced professionals to handle the marketing, paperwork, and payments. And bidders trust in a marketplace free of reserves and hidden fees. Purple Wave is the turnkey online auction service you've been looking for. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
Chenille Sheeran here, inviting you on behalf of Senator Mark Pody to join us for his community re-election kickoff this Saturday, October 25th from 11 to 2, right here in Lebanon. Visit markpody.com for more information. We're excited to welcome Dr. Ben Graham, appointed by President Trump as Faith Director for the U.S. Department of the Interior. As your current state senator, Mark leads with faith, stands for family and freedom, supports our schools, protects our children, and fights to keep Tennessee strong. Paid for by Campaign Mark Pody, Kristen Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Tom Pappert, our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network. So you got a couple stories. Illegal aliens are all over Tennessee. And one in particular in Nashville. ICE identified a teenager arrested after a high-speed chase here in Nashville as an illegal immigrant from Honduras. How did this happen, Tom Pappert?
Well, this is 18-year-old Gelson Varela Dubon. He was arrested last week, I believe it was last Thursday, following a high-speed chase with Metro Nashville Police Department. They were able to arrest him after the vehicle allegedly did a tailspin, spun out. Gelson is said to have left the vehicle and then fled on foot, but was quickly apprehended by Nashville's finest. Unfortunately, because of Freddie O'Connell and the policies in place by Metro Nashville Police Department, their press release was very thorough. They said that 3 handguns were recovered, including one that was stolen, a rifle was recovered, and that he was placed in jail and charged with various offenses. They neglected to note that this individual, Gelson Varela Dubon, is an illegal immigrant from Honduras. That had to come from ICE, who said that he is being detained for deportation. The Davidson County Sheriff's Office confirms this, that he has a deportation order. He was suspected. The reason why police initially started pursuing him is because they recognized the vehicle he was driving. It was an Infiniti. They said that it was said to be associated with multiple burglaries throughout Nashville over the past few weeks. And one of the charges against this upstanding young man is possession of burglary tools. So this is an alleged potential car thief, burglar, who fled from police at a high rate of speed, had 4 weapons in the vehicle, and was taken to a Davidson County jail. By the way, Michael, it's important to note that in the United States, it is illegal, no matter what, for an illegal immigrant to possess a firearm. There is no loophole that they can do to legally own a gun. So one of these weapons was reportedly a stolen gun, but the other 3 he couldn't have owned anyway. Despite 18 or not, illegal immigrants cannot have a gun in this country.
And Freddie O'Connell is doing what to stop this kind of stuff here in Nashville?
Well, he's being very silent. And to his credit, that's more than he was doing earlier this year. And I think everybody has to kind of thank Congressman Andy Ogles, who started that congressional probe into the mayor's office. The mayor is doing very little, in fact, nothing. He won't lift a finger to help the federal authorities, but at least, unlike some of his Democratic counterparts across the country, he's not rallying the bully pulpit to go out and protest and dox and, in some cases, assault ICE.
Well, you know, we should send this to the attorneys at Heckert and Fink, as well as Sherrod and Rowe here in Nashville, because clearly they will file a claim that there wasn't probable cause to arrest this illegal alien, because they love illegal aliens that are involved in all sorts of alleged criminal activity, just like Kilmar Abrego Garcia. You know, it's kind of interesting to look at this. The local mayors in blue cities, with one exception, are doing very little to stop illegal aliens. The exception in Memphis, you have another story that we published yesterday. The Department of Homeland Security has released names of 11 illegal aliens detained in Memphis as the federal task force sees the arrest total past 1,200. Tell us about that one.
So, yes, the Department of Homeland Security, really in Memphis, the left-wing and immigrant activists have been foaming at the mouth because ICE and HSI are part of this federal task force, which has received almost universal praise, as far as I can tell, from the actual residents of Nashville. So yesterday, DHS, I think, to sort of respond to some of this negative publicity, released the names of 11 illegal immigrants who have been arrested. One of them is Luis Alfredo Maldonado Lopez, a criminal illegal alien, again from Honduras, who was arrested for the sex offense of fondling a child. Another one is Jose Eduardo Mena Perez, another criminal illegal alien and Sereno 13 gang member who was arrested for, get this, larceny, possession of narcotic equipment, assault, and aggravated assault with a weapon. And the list goes on like this. Tricia McLaughlin pointed out in a statement yesterday that the city has had a murder rate that is 4 times higher than that of Mexico City. And that is why the Trump administration is there. As you mentioned, Michael, the mayor has been really very positive about this. We're talking about Mayor Paul Young of Memphis, not the Shelby County mayor, who has been the opposite, but the Memphis mayor has said this is an opportunity to lower crime, that it's going to build on the wonderful things that the Democrats were already doing to lower crime, which is a bit of a joke. And he said that it is getting the most dangerous and most frequent offenders off the street. And recently, on Monday, his administration actually put out a new web portal where you can go and see the progress in Memphis yourself. And Michael, so far, we're seeing a 45% decrease in the number of serious crimes committed in the city. We're seeing a 17% decrease in total calls to the police, and a massive, as of today, 1,329 arrests.
Tom Pappert, great reporting. Thanks so much for joining us today, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Thank you, Michael. Always a pleasure.
When we come back, both Ben Cunningham of the National Tea Party and Tom Zalestowski will join us, talking about property tax revolt in Ohio, and is that coming to Tennessee? Back after this.
Ponder this. Adding a drop of water to a mostly filled glass of water would not make a noticeable difference. However, adding a drop of arsenic to the same glass of water could be deadly. Likewise, how is it that one person can change the world and another make no noticeable difference? This is the case of a man named Charlie Kirk. He was like a drop of sanity in a culture that is overflowing with insanity. Charlie was not an elected official. He wasn't a powerful businessman. He wasn't even a household name. But Charlie was a man driven by his love for the Lord, his love of family, and his love for country. He knew America was the greatest country in the world, and he saw how his young people were being led astray by unhealthy and anti-Christian ideologies. Charlie was sent by God to be an inspiration to many. If you listen to God's calling as Charlie did, it could perhaps change your life and the lives of those around you like you never thought could be possible. Call on God and ask Him to send you, and be prepared. He will. I'm Susie Kelly at ponderfulmoments.org.
Is your fur maybe looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Befur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BefurandAfterGrooming.com. Befur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter.
This is WJFN Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFB Portsmouth, part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. The Republican-led Senate gearing up for another vote on a GOP plan to end the government shutdown now in day 22. Senate Majority Leader John Thune is urging Democrats to quit blocking the Republican bill and allow the government to reopen.
I've been willing to sit down with Democrats. They want to discuss the growing unaffordability and unsustainability of Obamacare. And I've said I'm willing to give them a vote, but it's under one condition. They got to end the Schumer shutdown, open up the government. I mean, we can't negotiate under hostage conditions.
Thune on the Salem Radio Network. Former Republican Senator John Sununu of New Hampshire wants his old job back.
Maybe you're surprised to hear that I'm running for the Senate again. I'm a bit surprised myself. Why would anyone subject themselves to everything going on there right now? Well, somebody has to step up and lower the temperature. Somebody has to get things done.
A snippet of a video posted to social media. Trump officials figure the time is right to start refilling the country's emergency oil reserves drained by the previous administration.
The U.S. Department of Energy wants to buy 1 million barrels of crude oil for delivery to the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, taking advantage of relatively low oil prices to help replenish the stockpile. The Biden administration sold record amounts of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, including a 180 million barrel sale after Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. The reserve, which has about a 700 million barrel capacity, is now holding nearly 409 million barrels. Bill Alexander, Washington.
Secretary of State Rubio plans to travel to Israel later in the week as the Trump administration works to preserve and strengthen the fragile Gaza peace agreement. Watching Wall Street this morning, the Dow is down 175 points, the Nasdaq off 158. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Todd Nettleton, who is the voice of the Martyrs radio host, he's traveled to all these restricted nations for over 20 years and met these courageous Christians, and he's written a book, When Faith is Forbidden, 40 Days on the Front Lines with Persecuted Christians. We want you to check it out. You can request a free copy by calling 844-463-4059, or you can visit vom.org/unashamed. Check it out. You will be inspired by this book.
Since the Israeli-Hamas ceasefire took effect, food distribution's been on the rise across Gaza.
Images released by the UN's World Food Programme on Tuesday show the distribution of food moving smoothly in the Gaza Strip. The head of the WFP in Gaza, Willie Nyeko, says it aims to scale up aid deliveries inside Gaza amid the ceasefire.
As the ceasefire holds, we plan on expanding to 145 of those sites throughout the Gaza Strip.
WFP's aiming to provide up to 1.6 million people with bread, wheat, flour and food boxes in the first 3 months of the ceasefire. I'm Charles Dilladespa.
The Louvre has reopened to the public 3 days after thieves forced open a window and stole French crown jewels in a daring daylight raid in the museum. The Apollo room where the theft actually occurred remains closed to visitors. News and analysis, townhall.com. A man pardoned for his involvement in the January 6th events at the U.S. Capitol could be going back to jail if these charges prove true.
A man whose convictions for storming the U.S. Capitol were erased by President Donald Trump's mass pardons has been arrested on a charge that he threatened to kill New York Democrat and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Christopher P. Moynihan is accused of sending a text message that read, quote, "I cannot allow this terrorist to live." Moynihan also wrote that Jeffries must be eliminated and texted, "I will kill him for the future." To extremists, Jeffries said,
"You better watch how you talk when you talk about me."
Haya Panjwani, Washington.
American ranchers have a beef with President Trump. It concerns the president's plan to cut record beef prices by importing more meat from Argentina. U.S. ranchers are enjoying some rare, profitable years, and they fear Mr. Trump's plan will put an end to that while having little impact on prices paid by American consumers. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Do we have a program for you today? In studio, a good friend, all-star panelist, founder of the Nashville Tea Party, the one, the only, Ben Cunningham. Welcome, Ben.
What an intro. Thank you, Michael. It's great to be here.
On our Zoom Newsmaker line, the one, the only, Tea Party leader from Ohio, founder of the We the People Convention, Tom Zastowski. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning to both of you guys. Glad to be with you. It's an honor.
Hey, Tom.
Hi, how are ya?
The hot issue that we want to talk about right now, which caught Ben Cunningham's attention, is what you guys are doing up there in Ohio to basically eliminate property taxes. It's a property tax revolt. Tell us about it.
Well, it is a property tax result, and it's not just happening here in Ohio. I think you guys have heard DeSantis in Florida, talking about the fact that, do you own your home or don't you? And the reality is, with the property taxes in many states, and particularly here in Ohio, you don't own your home. You're leasing it from the government for your whole life, and that's not what the Constitution says. And we need to change that. So, really, what caused all this, Michael, was that in the last couple of years, when the inflation that Biden drove was up to 9%. There's a thing called inside millage, which is part of your property taxes that is tied to inflation. And so when they started reappraising properties here in Ohio, which went up significantly like they did all over the country, people's property taxes went up 30% in 1 year. And we literally have seniors who are having to sell their homes because their property taxes are more than their Social Security checks. And that just kind of was the tipping point that caused the citizens to organize, and you, Michael, know from our time in the Tea Party, they're the same patriots that have been fighting for liberty and freedom, all these years, said enough, we're going to fix this, and we're going to put a constitutional amendment on the ballot to literally eliminate all property tax.
So it's a constitutional amendment on the Ohio state constitution. I think that the version of the Constitution you're using now is what, from 1851? Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. And as a provision for citizen, a constitutional amendment, ballot initiatives, and there are restrictions. We have to collect like 550,000 signatures, and with like some from all 88 counties, and then like 5% of the vote in the governor's race, the last governor's race, in like 40 of the counties. So it's a heavy lift, but we're committed to trying to get that done.
Well, I love the fact, Tom, that it is such a clean amendment, or at least as you explained it to me. It's and I understand it. It is an abolition, of pure and simple abolition of property taxes. Is that correct?
Yeah, I sent a text to Michael so he could see how simple it is. Here's the whole amendment. The proposed amendment will add Section 14 to Title 12 of the Constitution of the State of Ohio. The proposed amendment would abolish taxes on real property and prohibit any future taxes on real property. As used in this section, real property includes land itself, all growing crops therein, and all buildings, structures, and improvements permanently attached to the land. The amendment shall take effect on the first day of the year after it is passed. There it is.
Let's
Can't
go
get much
through
simpler than that.
Let's go through the dynamics of it, or the steps in the process, because each state is different how they handle constitutional amendments. How does this end up getting on a ballot and becoming an amendment to the Ohio Constitution? What are the steps? What are the timelines? What are the deadlines?
Right. The first challenge was you had to take this amendment and submit it to the Secretary of State and the Attorney General, and they review it to make sure that it meets the constitutional requirements of being about one issue. So you can't have a constitutional amendment that says, I want to change this, and I want to change that, and I want to change 4 other things. It's got to be specific. And you need to submit that with 1,000 signatures, which we did last spring. And then it was approved by the Attorney General that it met the criteria, and we were given permission to start gathering the necessary required ballot signatures, which have to be from registered voters in that county. So as you're gathering signatures, you have to have a sheet that says this county, and you have to ask them what county you're from, and they have to sign that. And so we have to collect 541,000 valid signatures and have them submitted by July 1st of this coming year, 2026.
How many registered voters do you have in the state?
About 8 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you hit
by
that number,
July 1st, if it passes, then it would be on the ballot in November of 2026, a year from now.
Okay, so that's a simpler process than we have here in Tennessee.
Yeah.
You can get it up quickly. So it could be on the ballot in November. Clearly, you submit, let's say you get You'll need more than 541,000 because
we're expecting 650 to get that number to ballot.
Because there will be challenges, but if you get on the ballot, let's say you make it on the ballot, what are the odds of this passing?
Well, that's a great question, because think about poking the bear, Michael. You and I have spent 16 years poking the bear. We know how bad that can be. You're basically going to have every single government entity in the state of Ohio spending tax dollars to fight this, and more specifically, Michael, to stoke fear. That's what they're going to do. They're basically going to say, if you call 911, no one will answer. If you need a police officer, no one will show up. If your house is on fire, there'll be no fire. They're going to use fear to defeat this. And so we're going to have to be smart in our messaging and use not just the information, but we'll probably be using some fear as well, and not fear, but an emotion as well to top their emotion. And the one emotion that beats fear is anger. And when they see what's been done with their tax dollars and how they've been abused, we think we can get most people to be pretty angry about what's been done and willing to vote for this despite the fear-mongering.
Tom, you were saying that one interesting aspect in Ohio is that there are hundreds of jurisdictions, local jurisdictions, that have taxing power, and that is something that has really pissed people off.
6,500.
Holy
to
mackerel.
be precise. Okay.
And they all have the authority to do this.
To levy taxes. They do. And the problem is there's no incentive, Ben or Mike, for them to change. They're just feeding at the trough. And we the people, again, Ohio, like Tennessee, has supermajority in our House, supermajority in our Senate. All the office holders are Republicans that we elected. And we've been saying, hey, you got to fix this, and they haven't. And then they did pass some for the budget that was out in June. They passed some reforms for property taxes, and our supposedly Republican governor vetoed them. And then our supermajority representatives didn't override the veto. So what choice do we have if we can't get representation from the people we elect? We just feel we have no other choice but to take it into our own hands.
Ben, we have a final question for Tom.
Yeah, it's just a great teachable moment also, I think, for our side to talk about private property and the role of government and all these basic issues that we don't talk about enough, I think, and this is just a great time and a great issue to use for that.
Well, Ben, I'd like to drill down on that because I think it's really important. There's multiple issues here. One is it's a liberty issue. Do you own your property or not? The U.S. Constitution is based on individual property ownership, and right now we don't. Number two, it's an economic issue. When your property taxes go up 30% and you have no recourse, it's brutal. But there's a bigger issue, I think, than even those two, and that is we are on the precipice of AI changing everything. And this is about reforming local government, which
Very good
they
point.
won't do on their own.
It's reforming local as well as state government. Tom Zalestowski, outstanding. Good luck, and we're rooting for you on this one. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Best of luck to you guys. Let's get it done there, too.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. Back with Ben Cunningham's thought on property taxes in the state of Tennessee. Back after this.
Ponder this. I was recently talking with a friend who said she was praying to God for her to accomplish big things. And by the way, this friend is currently reaching many through her writings and podcasts. But she wanted to do even bigger things for God. My comment to her was perhaps God did not want bigger things from her, and that doing more was her wish and maybe not God's. When we pray, we may want to follow the same path that Jesus did in the Garden of Gethsemane. We should make our desires known, but ultimately we should ask that not our will be done, but God's will, and then continue to pray for God's will to be done in and through you. After praying in this manner, we must then trust that the Lord will answer our prayers in accordance with His will for each one of us in order for us to get to heaven and to bring as many people with us as possible. Pray, trust, and persevere in prayer. This is the path. I'm Susie Kelly at ponderfulmoments.org.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Mandami visited a very controversial Brooklyn mosque just months after the imam there called for the annihilation of Israel. Your thoughts?
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party to confront this kid with his own background. He's a rabid socialist.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
He gave the finger to the Columbus statue.
Right. I can't almost think of any group he hasn't offended.
If you plan on voting for the Republicans in Virginia in November, vote early. That is the key to victory. Let's hear what Governor Youngkin has to say.
We have to get the vote out, and you have to vote early. Something could happen on Election Day, and you will miss it, and we can't afford to miss it. SecureYourVoteVirginia.com is ready to help you make a plan to vote early. Get out and vote. Every single vote counts. Go to SecureYourVoteVirginia.com and make a plan to vote early.
Early voting is underway. The time to vote is now. Paid for by Spirit of Virginia.
Why is Purple Wave Auction the fastest growing heavy equipment marketplace? Our full service online auctions take the hassle out of buying and selling farm, construction, and fleet equipment. Thousands of business owners partner with Purple Wave each month to manage their equipment. Sellers count on our experienced professionals to handle the marketing, paperwork, and payments. And bidders trust in a marketplace free of reserves and hidden fees. Purple Wave is the turnkey online auction service you've been looking for. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
I'm Chenille Sheeran, and I'm honored to share a special invitation on behalf of Senator Mark Pody. Mark would like to personally invite you to his community re-election kickoff this Saturday, October 25th from 11 to 2, right here in Lebanon. Go to markpody.com. This is a time to gather as neighbors, celebrate our values, look ahead to all God has in store for our future together. We're also excited to welcome Dr. Ben Graham, appointed by President Trump as Faith Director in Washington, D.C. As your current state senator, Mark leads with faith at the center of everything he does. He stands firmly for faith, family, and freedom, supporting our schools, teachers, protecting our children, and community safety. So bring your friends, your family, and your faith, and come celebrate with us on October 25th. Together, through our diligence and prayer, we can keep Tennessee strong. Paid for by Campaign Mark Pody, Kristen Hibden, Treasurer.
Now more than ever, President Trump needs battle-tested conservatives fighting alongside him to save our country. That's why Trump endorsed Matt Van Epps for Congress. West Point grad, 9 combat tours, decorated Army vet. Matt Van Epps has devoted his life to defending America and the conservative values we cherish. Endorsed by Trump, fearless conservative, Tennessee's Matt Van Epps for Congress. School Freedom Fund is responsible for the content of this ad.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
In studio, our friend for many years, Ben Cunningham, founder of the Nashville Tea Party. Actually, and I talk about this all the time, if you want to thank somebody for the fact that we have no state income tax in Tennessee, at the top of the list, Ben Cunningham. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Michael. It was a great time, and it was a great victory. And I don't think people really understand how different the state would be if we had an income tax.
It would be a disaster.
The Democrats would have been in control. And
it would have been a disaster.
Complete disaster.
And that 2000 Tennessee tax revolt, you were a key part of that. Marsha Blackburn was, Diane Black, Mae Beavers, Steve Gill was part of it. The late, great Phil Valentine.
Yep.
The horn honkers.
Huge effort. Thousands of people would show up honking their horns, and I think I told you that we had kind of an informal contest about who had the loudest horn, and a guy mounted a train horn on the back of his pickup truck, and he won the contest. The cops didn't let him do it very much. But, it was just a great time. It was kind of like arriving every day at a big football game, and the stadium was full, and everybody was cheering, and we came within one vote. Of having a state income tax.
Would have destroyed the state.
Would have absolutely destroyed what it means to be Tennessee. And now hundreds, thousands of people, and I think we'll have even more. I started to say moving from California, but if the communist in New York City gets elected, there's no telling how many folks are going to be moving here.
Well, from Illinois, the blue states are, led by people who hate America.
Oh, it's, Chicago is imploding.
Yeah.
Portland, all these things.
Seattle.
And you were talking about federalism earlier, and how basically they have decided to thumb their nose at any kind of constitutional authority of the federal government. And it's I don't know where all that's headed, but
they're basically,
it's a scary time.
I will call them neo-Marxist, neo-Confederates,
and
insurrectionists.
Antifa they are the shock troops of the left, and there are a bunch of anarchists, as Andy Ngo, who's documented all this so beautifully, is showing. They really are anarchist, communist, mainly anarchist, with a little bit of Marxism.
They're basically nihilists who want to destabilize the country and thereby bring it down. That's what they want.
Somebody asked him, what's the goal of Antifa? He said the destruction of the United States. It's that simple, that clear.
Hello, and, everybody, wake up.
Yeah.
Wake up.
Yeah, and it's just crazy.
Here in Tennessee, we had Tom Zalstowski, our good friend, We the People Convention from Ohio. They have a big property tax problem there. The state and local government, particularly also local governments, are really abusing the ability to tax property.
Yeah, just picking the poor old homeowners a piece from every direction. They have hundreds of jurisdictions that can impose property tax increases.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Now, talk about, you have an interest in reducing or eliminating. Tell me, reduce, eliminate property taxes here in
Love
Tennessee.
to see
what do you want to do?
Total elimination of property taxes here in Tennessee. It is the most. USA Today used to do a survey every year asking what was the most hated tax. Every time, by far, was the property tax, even more than the income tax. People hate having their real estate encumbered. You work hard, you pay your damn mortgage for 30 years, you get it paid off, and what happens is you still have to pay rent to the local government. And it just makes people furious. And we've got to, there are efforts right now to put caps on property tax increases. Art Laffer and Beacon Center are kind of leading that charge. But we've had, like in Ohio, we've had year after year, we've had efforts to limit property taxes, but always the folks, the mayors associations, the school board administrators, all the folks that receive our tax money hire tax-funded lobbyists to show up at the legislature every year, and they kill these bills. And they killed it last year. Even with
what was the bill last year that was killed?
Well, I don't remember the exact limitations, but basically it put a limitation on the increase each year that you can increase property taxes.
Yeah. Okay.
Even with the imprimatur of Art Laffer and Beacon Center and all those folks, it still didn't get through. It is just really difficult to get anything through the state legislature if you're fighting the county mayors, the sheriffs, All these folks form associations. Then the taxpayers pay dues to these associations.
Right.
Then these associations use that taxpayer money to hire a professional lobbyist who go up there and lobby against the taxpayers. And there are dozens of these taxpayer-funded lobbyists at the legislature every year, ready to swat down any kind of reform of property taxes. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to do a statewide petition to get an amendment, constitutional amendment on the ballot. But I think this is an issue that could get overwhelming support. It's going to take a few years. It's not going to happen immediately. But folks hate having their homes encumbered. And it is a great opportunity. Not only do we reduce taxes, and Tennessee is a low-tax state. Our taxation, our percentage of personal income for state and local taxes is almost half what it is in California. I don't know what the hell they're doing with all the money in California and New York.
It's going to special interest groups that hate America.
They're throwing it
basically.
away.
Yeah.
And even here in Tennessee, much of our money is squandered. So this is a great opportunity for people to look at the fundamentals of government. What is the role of government? How much of my money do I want the government to have? What services do I want the government to perform? We've been through this last legislative session acknowledging that this great task of educating our children we've given to government, they've screwed it up. The government education simply isn't doing a very good job of educating our children.
I think it's a bad job.
It's a
really,
bad job. They have failed our kids year after year after year. And the Constitution, unfortunately, gives government a very significant role in educating our children. But the politicians haven't held these folks accountable. The teachers, the administrators. We can't fire bad teachers. There are all kinds of problems. So this is a really good issue to go to people and not only talk about tax burden and the fact that your house is encumbered, but the essential and basic role of government. What do we want government to perform? And how much money do we give politicians? How much right do they have to reach into our bank accounts and grab money out? Because the most important budget of all is the family budget of taxpayers. That's the source of all money that goes to government. So we as taxpayers have got to stand up and say, look, this is our money. This is our budget. When you're raising taxes, you're basically saying we're not going to cut our government budget. We're going to force you, Mr. and Ms. Taxpayer, to cut your budget by raising your taxes. It is in many ways a zero-sum game, and they play it very well. And like Tom says, they always use this emotional appeal. Oh, you won't have police, you won't have fire, and that's all complete bunk. You can structure government where they give you essential services, where they are held accountable for providing those essential services, and we don't have that right now. We don't have it so that the educational establishment is providing a really good education for our children. And that is the most basic service of all of government, I think. And maybe public safety and that kind of thing, but the poor kids in Memphis, for example, they're an awful school system over there.
Let's come back and let's drill down on this some more. Because I want to ask you, what exactly are you proposing?
Okay.
And what the timeline would be.
Okay.
Back with Ben Cunningham, the founder of the Nashville Tea Party, our good friend for many years, after this.
Attorney General Miyares and John Fredericks talk about skill games.
They're unregulated slot machines.
They pop up in 7-Elevens in every corner of Virginia.
The General Assembly has spoken on this.
Skill games.
These things are illegal.
It's the Wild Wild West. Fights break out. Robberies increase.
Skill games.
They prey on the less fortunate.
I say it's a tax on the poor.
They're breaking the law.
My job is to enforce the law. These machines are not allowed.
Enforce the law and get them out of there.
When you see skill games, call the local sheriff.
These things are illegal.
Paid for by Churchill Downs.
Silence is tacit support. When a Chesterfield school board member celebrated a political assassination, Leslie Mehta was silent. When death threats were made against members of the House of Delegates, Leslie Mehta was silent. And when her political ally Jay Jones talked about shooting the former House Speaker and seeing his children dead, Leslie Mehta said nothing. She still supports him. If you can't speak with moral clarity on issues that are clear, you have no business leading our community. And Mehta's record speaks volumes. She wants more high-rise apartments in Chesterfield, crowding our schools, jamming our roads, and making life harder. She defended letting men compete in girls' sports and use women's locker rooms. And she opposed school resource officers, making kids less safe. Leslie Mehta's silence and her agenda are too extreme for Chesterfield.
I'm Mark Early, candidate for delegate, and my campaign sponsored this ad.
Let's face it, losing weight isn't just about looks. It's about taking back control of your health. Tired of confusing diets and injections with harsh side effects? Meet Drop, an oral GLP-1 peptide from the Wellness Company that boosts metabolism, curbs cravings, and helps you burn fat. No needles needed. Just mix it with water and let your body do the rest. Right now, get $100 off and free shipping at twc.health/Godzilla and use the promo code Godzilla100 to save $100. Drop the weight. Take back your life.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
This is Michael Patrick Leahy. Join Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, and Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs and me at T-Bones and Politics 2025 on the evening of November 10th in Murfreesboro for a night of great food, good fellowship, and inspiring political speeches. Get your tickets now. They're going fast at tbonesandpolitics2025.com. This is a great annual event. This year, musical entertainment will be provided by the Tremolo Honey Band. If you haven't heard them before, they are absolutely fantastic. This special event is sponsored by Barrett Firearms, Old South SRM, Moody Excavating, Azure Flight Management, and SEC Engineers. So go right now to tbonesandpolitics2025.com and get your tickets for T-Bones and Politics. It's an evening of great food and fun on November 10th. I'll see you there. Paid for by Joe Pack, William Ronsley, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. In studio, our very good friend, Ben Cunningham. Ben, it's always fun to have you here.
Great to be here. Great to be here. Good discussion this morning.
It is, really.
This is fundamental stuff.
That was the word I was about to use. It is fundamental.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the property tax. And before we get to the specifics, what percentage, do you recall what percentage of the state government is funded by property taxes?
Well, state government has no property tax. This Tennessee state government.
Oh, you mean I'm sorry, it's the local counties.
Yeah,
right.
City and counties.
Thank you.
And about 40% of their revenue is, excuse me, is property taxes. Now, it's a major part of local revenue. And it would have to be, obviously, this is a pretty dramatic restructuring of not only the source of revenue, but of government, how we fund government, how we hold government accountable, and there are two major issues here. Do you tax people's real estate, their houses? I think we can get away from that by abolishing the the property tax. And by the way, this thing is really going nationwide. Ron DeSantis has really jumped on the bandwagon of eliminating property taxes in Florida, and they're considering some amendments right now that will be on the ballot in the next election, I think next year in Florida. I talked yesterday with a group in South Dakota. South Dakota. And that is pursuing this. North Dakota pursued it. They got it on the ballot, and it didn't pass, but they're going to run at it again. Ohio, Pennsylvania, there are many states. People are just sick and tired of having the taxes go up every year on their homes, and not having any. Probably even more essential than that is not having any direct connection between what they're paying to local government and the services that they're getting. It's like this. The local government has this kind of mafia-like hold over people. If you don't pay your property taxes, we can take your house away. And they can. They can take the deed literally to your house, take it to the steps of the courthouse, and there they have an auction, and people buy the deed, pay the property taxes, and they get the deed to your property. It is just that simple and just that mafia-like, and I think people are just sick and tired of it. And you see that from the reports in Ohio. People are saying it is depressing when you work for 25 to 30 years to pay off your mortgage, and then you claim this great. But for most people, the biggest part of their wealth is their house. You claim this private property that you work so hard to own free and clear, and then you find out you don't really own it free and clear. The local government really has a perpetual lien on it, and that lien is perpetual, and they use it like an axe hanging over your head to extract the money and extort the money out of you every year.
And do what they want.
And do what they damn well please.
Well, yeah. And, of course, in county government here in Tennessee, and sometimes city governments will put property taxes on. Most people have no idea what the county's doing with their money.
Right. There's no tie to the accountability, and I think that's the real issue. If we move forward with this, now there are, as we talked about, there are efforts to limit tax increases, but this is a whole other item, and eliminating property taxes as a source of revenue, and replacing it with user fees, with stuff where there's some kind of direct relationship between what you pay to government and the service that you get back. And we've kind of lost that concept over the years that government is there to provide us services. We, the people, have created government. The Constitution at the federal level, the Constitution at each state level, and we have a magnificent Constitution here in Tennessee. And this compact that we have between the people and the government should mean that the services provided by the government are such that we can hold government accountable for the quality of those services. And we don't see that right now. Memphis right now is a perfect example. Memphis, the poor citizens of Memphis get awful, terrible, failing schools. They get awful, terrible public safety. The county clerk over there, they're trying to
Rutherford County?
No,
Shelby County.
Shelby
That's
County.
right. Yeah.
They're trying to remove her. The one thing that I've followed for a couple of years now is the Memphis Area Transit Authority. It is a mess. It's a complete and total disaster. They came 2 years ago. They came to the county commission. They said, by the way, this is literally what they said. By the way, we're $60 million in the hole, and we have no idea where that $60 million went.
No, really, they don't know.
Literally, that's
they
exactly.
They don't know where $60 million went.
They have no idea how that $60 million got away from them.
Wow.
And of course, it involved criminal behavior, but they're still researching it, and they've audited, but nobody will come out and say we had a bunch of criminals running the Memphis Area Transit Authority.
Never see again. Right?
And, the money's gone. Absolutely. There may be prosecutions, but the people of Shelby County are getting really awful public services, and to a lesser extent in other counties, we're seeing the same patterns. There's no good way to hold people accountable, and this is a golden opportunity to make government revenue such that we can hold government accountable for that revenue.
So I have a copy of the Tennessee Constitution here. It's put out by our friends at the Nashville School of Law.
Great.
Where I'm spending a couple nights a week learning more stuff. This is a great little pocket booklet. It has the Constitution of the U.S. and the state of Tennessee. And as you said.
And the first clause of the Tennessee Constitution is a killer.
Yeah, the first clause of the Tennessee Constitution is, quote, Section 1, Article 1, Section 1, Declaration of Rights, that all power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their peace, safety, and happiness, for the advancement of those ends they have at all times an unalienable and indefeasible right to alter, reform, or abolish the government in such manner as they may think proper.
An amazing statement.
Isn't
the first paragraph of the Constitution says, if the government doesn't live up to your expectations, you have the right to change it, to abolish it, and have a government. And I think we're not quite to that point yet, but we certainly are to the point where we can talk about sources of revenue. We have said to the state government, you cannot tax income. You may not tax income. There's also a constitutional amendment that will be on the ballot in the next governor's election that will make unconstitutional a statewide property tax. That was in the Constitution, a statewide property tax. Our good friends at AFP, and I think Beacon was part of that also, got this constitutional amendment passed, or got it through the legislature through the fairly laborious process that is set forth to have constitutional
So in the
amendments.
Constitution of the state, the General Assembly does have taxation authority to impose it statewide. They just haven't done it yet.
They haven't done it. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and let's get this thing passed so they never do it.
Right. And we did the same thing with the income tax. We've defeated the income tax in 2001, 2002, but it still was in the Constitution, the power to do that. And then several years later, Brian Kelsey and several others led the charge to get the constitutional amendment to say, no, we are not going to do that. Unfortunately, the ability to tax dividends and interest is still in there, and that effort to get that taken out of the
what is your specific ask here, Ben?
Well, I don't have a complete detailed ask at this point. What I'm interested in is building awareness first of the fact that we can do away with with the property tax in Tennessee.
At the local level.
At the local level.
Yeah.
And we can replace it with user fees, with other in South Dakota, for example, their amendment specifies that revenue will be replaced with a transaction tax.
Would this come in the form of a statute or a constitutional
I think
amendment?
it have to be a constitutional amendment.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay, so and describe briefly the process here in Tennessee.
Well, you have to go through 2 legislative sessions, and you pass. It's a motion or a resolution, and the resolution has to pass by a simple majority. In the first session, we have
2/3 in the second session.
2-year sessions here in Tennessee, and then the second 2-year session, it has to pass by 2/3 majority. So it's a pretty high hurdle here in Tennessee, but I think we can get the public,
and then it goes on the ballot,
and then it goes on the ballot, and then
So we're talking about 4 years before.
And I think
if
it gets on the ballot, I think it'll be. I think Tom is a little cautious in Ohio. From what I have seen, and for the folks I've talked to with Tom and others in Ohio, I think this thing will pass in Ohio. I don't think there's enough scare tactics. People have been
so that would be
26.
26. I actually, you know what I think. So why don't you get this constitutional amendment proposed this session, right? And then, so that's 26, and then you could propose it again in 27.
Mm-hmm.
It would be on the ballot in 28.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I'm here to inspire you, Ben.
Good, do please, please.
Hey,
I feel uplifted.
we have a very patient caller from Virginia, Aiden. If he's still with us, he has a question on the shutdown. And I think we'll reward his patience and let him come on.
Yeah.
Back after this.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
Why is Purple Wave Auction the fastest growing heavy equipment marketplace? Our full-service online auctions take the hassle out of buying and selling farm, construction, and fleet equipment. Thousands of business owners partner with Purple Wave each month to manage their equipment. Sellers count on our experienced professionals to handle the marketing, paperwork, and payments. And bidders trust in a marketplace free of reserves and hidden fees. Purple Wave is the turnkey online auction service you've been looking for. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Do you think workers in Virginia should be forced to pay union dues and fees just to get or keep a job? For nearly 80% of Virginians, the answer is no. For Virginia to keep on thriving, Governor Youngkin got it right.
We have to protect right to work.
And Virginia's Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears agrees. As the Republican gubernatorial candidate for governor in Virginia, Winsome Earl Sears has pledged to protect Virginia's right to work law. Her opponent, Democratic candidate Abigail Spanberger, won't make that same commitment. In fact, she has repeatedly supported and voted for legislation in Congress that would repeal Virginia's right to work law. Demand that Abigail Spanberger pledge complete opposition to forced unionism. Call Abigail Spanberger, 804-223-0770. That's 804-223-0770. Urge her to promise that she will protect Virginians' right to work. This ad was paid for by the National Right to Work Committee.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
Chanel Sheeran here, inviting you on behalf of Senator Mark Pody to join us for his community re-election kickoff this Saturday, October 25th from 11 to 2, right here in Lebanon. Visit markpody.com for more information. We're excited to welcome Dr. Ben Graham, appointed by President Trump as Faith Director for the U.S. Department of the Interior. As your current state senator, Mark leads with faith, stands for family and freedom, supports our schools, protects our children, and fights to keep Tennessee strong. Paid for by Campaign Mark Pody, Kristen Hipton, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good friend, all-star panelist, founder of the National Tea Party, Ben Cunningham in studio. Ben, the most patient listener in Virginia, is Adrian, who called us in the first hour, called back, waited through that whole segment, has something important to share with us about the shutdown and spending. Adrian in Virginia, you're on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show with Ben Cunningham.
Thank you, Michael. Ben, nice to talk to you as well. Let me just say real quick, I think it's amazing what you're doing, and I hope it bleeds out to the United States of America. I hope good luck to that.
Thanks.
Yeah, bear with me. I'm a little medical issue right now, so it's hard for me to breathe sometimes. But I wanted just to full disclosure. I grew up in South Houston, single mom. My mom.
You grew up where in South
Houston.
South Houston.
Texas.
Okay, got it.
South Houston, Texas. In the hood, in the ghetto, call it what you want, the barrio. I'm a Latino. With that being said, my mom was a single mom. She got married, she got divorced, and, had 3 sons. And unfortunately, the streets kind of raised us because my mom had to work 2 jobs. She never believed in handouts. There's pros to cons to that, but, we grown up, and all 3 of us are doing well. With that being said, I know what it is to be poor, not poverty, poor. I think there's a big difference that people don't understand that. People don't know what really poor is. I'm not saying that all Americans do, but when you're wearing Jordans and you have a smartphone, that's not poor. What my point is I know John Fredericks is big on thinking that the shutdown will end by Thanksgiving. I appreciate the few minutes you're giving me here. I believe, I hope it happens sooner, and it's kind of entertaining, but I know it's serious as well, but these welfare moms are not going to put up with this. I don't keep up with urban stories that much, but I know you, Patrick, you always put things in the back burner and you always follow up on them. My baby brother's big into, it's called urban news. It's kind of funny, but these ladies are already talking about how much damage they're going to cause to these markets, supermarkets, Walmarts, Food Lions, whatever you guys have in your community. How they're going to go in there and destroy these stores because they're not going to get their food stamp. Yes, there are people in this country who well deserve it, who need it, and I sympathize with those folks because I've seen it with my own eyes. I grew up with it. I saw it, not within our home, but within the neighbors and such. But I want you to just keep an eye out for that. I know it's a little side story. It's not really that big. What you guys are talking about, very important. But I just want y'all to be very careful when you guys go out because, there's a lot of folks out there that are going on their YouTubes and Twitter. I'm not on social media or anything like that. My brother is. That's why he sends me these videos and stuff. But there's a lot of people that are going to cause trouble on the first. And these welfare queens, these people who are on SNAP and all that are not going to let the government stop them from eating.
Adrian, hold on just a second. And
yes, sir.
Ben,
caution.
Don't leave yet, Adrian. So
I'm not, sir. Go ahead.
Ben, what Adrian's talking about? Did you see these TikTok videos of a bunch of folks that are getting food stamps and said, if we don't get our food stamps, we're going to come and wreck the stores and steal all the food.
I have heard about them. I haven't seen them. That kind of entitlement mentality is. again, is another. Yeah. It's,
Adrian, it gets to the point, though, back to sort of the breakdown of the social contract, right? Where people think that they can go ahead and do something like that. I think you're calling us to say, you see this out there, you see it, and be watchful that might be a consequence if the shutdown continues. I guess that's your key point.
I'll be honest
right?
with you. If I had a young daughter, teenager daughter that was, or even a young man, but that was working in a grocery store to learn how to work, learn ethics, learn all that, I would grow cautious on the first and the second.
Yeah, good point.
And I'm not saying it's going to happen. I pray that nothing happens. I really do. I hope this is overblown and we have one or two incidents and life goes on. But these folks sound serious. These folks sound like they mean business. And that's why I say, if you're an older senior citizen and you work in these stores because you got to make an income, be careful these next few days.
Adrian from Virginia. Hey, thanks for your call. Come back again and call us again. Ben.
Great call.
Yeah, good call. Yes, what do you think? How long will this shutdown last, do you think?
I don't see the Democrats caving to. They got so much pressure from AOC. That Mr. Mondami is probably behind the scenes keeping the pressure up also. We just have a very, very effective far left that's pretty much controlling the Democratic Party.
Totally controlling them.
Schumer obviously is worried about a primary.
Oh, he's scared to death.
And you've got Steve Cohen over in Memphis now.
Challenged by Justin Pearson.
He's, I don't know if you saw the other day, they've invited Pearson to an event but didn't invite Cohen, and now Cohen's trying to recover his credibility. And it's just, this threat for them is credible. And it's a threat to us as Americans also. That's the real point for us, I think.
Threat to our traditional constitutional republic. That's what it really is.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
But it's taken over a certain percentage of the population.
Yeah, and we've got
not a majority.
A socialist about to be elected, and people are using the word socialist as if it is a credible political.
No, we have a neo-Marxist Islamist about to be elected as mayor of New York City. Yeah,
he says very openly his end goal is to seize the means of production. That's Marxism. It's crazy.
Ben Cunningham, it is always a delight to have you here in
Great
studio.
to be here. Thanks,
a lot
Michael.
of fun. We always have fun conversations.
Yeah.
And very helpful to our listeners.
Yeah. I'll keep you updated.
All right. You'll be back in a couple weeks, I think. Up next, the one, the only. Sean, do we have the Marine Force One coming? There it is. Out front in the parking lot is Marine Force One landing. There he is, Donald Trump and Sean Farash. They'll be with us momentarily. Back after this.
Let's face it, losing weight isn't just about looks. It's about taking back control of your health. Tired of confusing diets and injections with harsh side effects? Meet Drop, an oral GLP-1 peptide from the Wellness Company that boosts metabolism, curbs cravings, and helps you burn fat. No needles needed. Just mix it with water and let your body do the rest. Right now, get $100 off and free shipping at twc.health/Godzilla and use the promo code Godzilla100 to save $100. Drop the weight. Take back your life.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Executive Director of the American Constitutional Rights Union Action Fund, and this is a Live Free Minute. Just this month, an illegal immigrant in Virginia was convicted of raping an 11-year-old girl after breaking into her home. On any given day, there are hundreds of illegal immigrants in Virginia jails who have committed violent crimes. Yet there are politicians who openly advocate for protecting these criminal illegal immigrants and who wish to make Virginia a sanctuary for them. Our constitutional republic is dependent on adherence to the rule of law. Our founders could not have imagined that there would be politicians who would be so bold as to campaign against it. I encourage you to vote this election to protect public safety and the rule of law. This Live Free Minute is sponsored by the American Constitutional Rights Union Action Fund. We empower Americans to live free. And for more information, go to acruaction.com.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social.
WENO Nashville, KQPN West Memphis. News Talk, AM 760, AM 730, The Flame.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Senate Majority Leader John Thune says when it comes to the government shutdown, time may be running out for the Democrats.
I think the majority of the country is starting to see through this and is going to continue to move against them.
Thune says it's becoming clear the shutdown results from Senate Democrats allowing left-wing politicians like AOC to set the rules.
They want, the Democrats that is, far left progressive activists, be less mad at them. I mean, that's really what we're talking about here. So I just think in the end, it's a simple choice for them, and they can get the government back open or they can choose to keep letting the far left call the shots.
Senator Thune spoke today with the Salem Radio Network. Today in Concord, New Hampshire, Republican John Sununu announcing a campaign for the U.S. Senate.
Well, somebody has to step up and lower the temperature. Somebody has to get things done.
Sununu seeking the Republican nomination for the seat being vacated by Democrat Senator Jeanne Shaheen, the very one who ousted him back in 2008. Could there really be new hope for a troubled region? Vice President J.D. Vance thinks so, as he told reporters today in Jerusalem.
If we do this the right way, it could create a model, I think, that could lead to other peace agreements all over the world.
The vice president says despite serious challenges, the administration remains committed to the Gaza peace plan. U.S. officials say oil prices are low, and that makes it a good time to stock up.
The U.S. Department of Energy wants to buy 1 million barrels of crude oil for delivery to the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, taking advantage of relatively low oil prices to help replenish the stockpile. The reserve, which has about a 700 million barrel capacity, is now holding nearly 409 million barrels. Bill Alexander, Washington.
Fed regulators will be missing a key piece of data next week when they meet to discuss interest rates. Official employment data has not been released since the federal government shutdown began. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Is war in the Middle East the revival of an ancient conflict recorded in the Bible?
The nation of Israel is a resurrected nation. So what if there was going to be a resurrection of another people, an enemy people of Israel?
Dinesh D'Souza's new film, The Dragon's Prophecy, offers new understanding of October 7th, Israel, and radical Islam.
We came back to a land that was largely barren and empty, and we brought it back to life, and we're going to keep it.
Watch it now or buy the DVD at salemnow.com.
Here's Rich Thomason with the Midday Wall Street Business Report.
What's up with gold? The precious metal continues to decline following its worst day in more than 5 years. Gold futures fell 1.4% early today following yesterday's 5.3% slide. Gold still is up about 54% this year. Netflix tumbled 6.4% overnight after the video streamer missed Wall Street's profit target for the first time in 7 quarters. American ranchers have a beef with President Trump. It concerns the president's plan to cut record beef prices by importing more meat from Argentina. U.S. ranchers enjoying some rare profitable years fear Mr. Trump's plan will put an end to that while having little, if any, impact on the prices paid by American consumers. Electric automaker Tesla to report its latest results after today's closing bell. I'm Rich Thomason.
Breaking news at townhall.com. A variety of the late actor Gene Hackman's possessions are on their way to the auction block.
They include Golden Globe statues, a wristwatch, and paintings he collected and created himself. Live and online auctions next month follow Hackman's death in Santa Fe this year, the age of 95. The 2-time Oscar winner enjoyed painting and wrote novels in his later years. Auction items include a still life painting of a Japanese vase by Hackman. Hackman's art collection highlights post-war and contemporary masters.
Researchers have debunked the origin of Chicago's so-called rat hole, a full-body impression of a small creature crossing wet cement in the city's Roscoe Village neighborhood 20 to 30 years ago. The imprint closely resembled a rat, but researchers have now concluded it was likely something else, like a muskrat or a squirrel, that made the imprint, and not a large rat after all. You'll find more on these stories at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Bob Agnew.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. It's Trump Day, Hump Day, Wednesday, and right now, yep. I told you they were coming in. It's Marine Force One. I'm watching now, and they're getting off. The chopper blade is still moving, and the hair is blowing all over the place. And there's Donald Trump. He's a little bit taller than Sean Farash. They're both coming into the studio now as we speak. Hello, Mr. President. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Happy Hump Day, happy Trump Day, and last week we celebrated Columbus Day, and then we celebrated King Donald Day. Remember that? King Donald, the strongest and greatest, the maker of deals, the bringer of peace. And I have the biggest scepter the world has ever seen. You look at it. My favorite kings, they told me to speak softly but carry a big scepter. And I said, we don't have that problem. But Chuck Schumer has that problem. You know, he has a tiny scepter. So, and he doesn't rule very well. But we're ruling with a golden fist because it's the golden age. So we're very happy. King Donald is here. Long live the king is what they say.
Well, Mr. President, you caused an uproar by being a great builder.
What else is new?
Yeah, you are a great builder. And I think, you know, in your first term, you looked at the White House and said, you know, I need to upgrade this property. I mean, you're pretty good at upgrading properties. And you've had a desire to build a beautiful ballroom for some time. And there were other things going on in Trump 1.0. But I think you stepped into Trump 2.0 and you were ready to build that ballroom.
And now we're building it.
Yes, you are.
And we're building it nicely. You know, it's big. They said, sir, why do you need a big ballroom? I said, well, because AC/DC listened to the song. That's why we need a big ballroom, because people who, we want to throw parties. Let's just leave it at that. But AC/DC wrote a beautiful song, Edward Corstein, you know, his nickname. That's why we have to build a big, beautiful ballroom, because I happen to possess, you know what I'm talking about. But you look at it. We're building it. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be Trump style. Everything's going to be gold. It's going to look so great. But they're mad that we're destroying the White House, or that we're demolishing the White House to make it better. We're taking it down to make it better. And nobody wants to look at it that way. They want to say it's not his house. It's the people's house. Crooked Hillary Clinton said it's not his house. It's the people's house. Do we have to remind everybody what her husband did in that house?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to talk about it, but we could talk about it if we have to talk about it.
We could talk about it. You did talk about, now this I thought was interesting. So you were talking about the ballroom, and the construction crews were renovating it, taking down one part of it and building up new. That's what you do. Your whole life is building beautiful buildings, right?
I've built the greatest buildings the world has ever seen. Nobody's ever seen buildings like I've built them. You know, I got along very well with the Romans. You look at the Colosseum. I built that with my own 2 hands. It's still standing. Nobody knew about it. The Leaning Tower of Pisa. And then Chris Christie got excited. You know, the reason why it's leaning is because he thought it was a tower of pizza and he read into it. And now it's leaning. But our architecture stood the test of time. Nobody builds like I do. You look at the pyramids in Egypt. I get along very well with the Egyptians. I got along very well with King Tut. They called him King Tut, Tutankhamun. I said, now you want to call him Tut. Tut sounds crazy. We already have a King Tut. His name is Eric Swalwell, who passed wind. They call it passing wind. I call him Eric, his flatulence Swalwell. That's what I call him. And remember, he had a thing with the Chinese spy known as Fang Fang. I call her Chinese takeout. But you have so many people who don't understand. I have done so well building. I built the Sphinx. I built the pyramids. I even built the Grand Canyon. People don't know that. I made the Grand Canyon myself with my own 2 hands. All we did is we rolled Rosie O'Donnell in there, and we had a big, beautiful hall.
Now, Mr. President, yesterday you held a press conference, and a couple things. I'll start with kind of the, it was sort of a critique, shall we say, of one of your predecessors. He was talking about when they put a swimming pool in there. John F. Kennedy was reportedly had many female friends, reportedly. You told a story about the first lady at that time, Jacqueline Kennedy, saying, I hear women in the pool. No, there are no pools, no women in the pool. I guess there were women in the pool, apparently.
Well, it sounds like there were women in the pool. We don't know about it, and we don't really want to look at that.
You don't want to look at that.
We don't want to look at that. We don't want to get John F. Kennedy. I don't want Bobby mad at me, right?
So here's the other thing, though, which is interesting. You said you love the sound of construction.
It's a great sound.
It sounds like money to you.
It sounds like money being made, jobs. You look at jobs. It looks like, and also construction means we're building something beautiful. Now, the sounds of the construction over at the Presidential Library, Obama, those are bad sounds of construction because they're building something very bad. We would love the sound of demolition on that. That's a monstrosity, the Presidential Library, Barack Obama. We called it an abomination.
It looks
If
ugly.
I built it, it would look beautiful. Even for Obama, who I don't like very much, but if I built it, it would look beautiful.
It looks very ugly. It's very, brutal architecture.
It looks like... I don't want to say
I know. It does look like that. It does look like that.
I don't want to say who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
who happens to be married to Barack Obama.
Big Mike, right?
Talk about a monstrosity, right? You talk about a monstrosity. We could talk about a monstrosity.
So, Mr. President, you seem to be...
He called her Big Mike. I would never say that.
You would never say that.
I would never say that.
You wouldn't call her Big
But
Mike.
I understand why people say that, and we'll leave it at that, right? I understand why he said that.
What did I say, Mr. President?
Big Mike. He said, Big Mike, she's a monstrosity. I called her a monstrosity.
Well, Mr. President, you've got a busy, busy week ahead. How long is it going to take to build that ballroom?
Well, we don't know. I mean, if it was up to me, if I was the one building it, it would be done. I could build things in record speed, but we're dealing with very talented people. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we have it over the course of the next year, maybe a few months. We'll see. One thing I know is it won't take as long as the Fed. You look at Jerome Powell.
Over budget.
And we're not going to go over budget either. We made a deal. We have a beautiful deal. And we're not going to go over budget. It's not going to take that long. You know, the Fed, they've been rebuilding the Fed for a long time. And we're not going to let it go that long.
Well, yeah, I think, what's interesting about it is it doesn't look like Democrats can actually do anything. They can't build anything. And you talk about, like, the Obama library. It's still unfinished, and it looks awful. Joe Biden has threatened to build a library. How's he going to be able to do that? Does he have any money to build a library? And what would be housed in a Joe Biden presidential library?
Well, I think, maybe he'll build one out of Lincoln logs. I love Lincoln logs. I got along well with Lincoln, great guy. But and I told him, don't go see that play, Mr. President. And he went. You see what happened. But you look at crooked Joe Biden. You look at so many people. He can't build anything. He has no money to build anything. And if you had a library, I don't know what the hell he would have in there. Maybe the little engine that could, right? I think I can. And he thought he could do a lot of things, but he really couldn't do it. Probably a lot of children's books and maybe
children's books.
Probably children's.
He could read. He could read
because
that.
He likes children a lot. He gets very sniffy.
Ooh.
He likes to sniff.
Hey,
that nose is always going.
His former press secretary, Binder Corinne Jean-Pierre, is out saying, Joe Biden was really on top of his game, and she also said Joe Biden spoke with the press more than President Trump did.
Well, I think she's always been a very funny person and a very stupid person. And you look at what her hair do. She used to look like a rag mop. Now I don't know what the hell she's doing. Her hair looks worse. She found a way to make it worse. So she ought to be ashamed of herself. KJP. Nobody's down with KJP. That much I can tell you.
Or as we call her, Binder. When we come back, I see the Marine Force One is revving up. You got Peace you got peace deals to make in Israel and Ukraine.
We have a lot of deals. We're going to make a lot of deals.
So, but Sean Farash, your favorite impersonator of yourself, will be staying with us. So thanks for joining us, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All right. We'll be back with Sean Farash after this.
Hi folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just 1 scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
I'm Chanel Sheeran, and I'm honored to share a special invitation on behalf of Senator Mark Pody. Mark would like to personally invite you to his community re-election kickoff this Saturday, October 25th from 11 to 2, right here in Lebanon. Go to markpody.com. This is a time to gather as neighbors, celebrate our values, look ahead to all God has in store for our future together. We're also excited to welcome Dr. Ben Graham, appointed by President Trump as Faith Director in Washington, D.C. As your current state senator, Mark leads with faith at the center of everything he does. He stands firmly for faith, family, and freedom, supporting our schools, teachers, protecting our children, and community safety. So bring your friends, your family, and your faith, and come celebrate with us on October 25th. Together, through our diligence and prayer, we can keep Tennessee strong. Paid for by Campaign Mark Pody, Kristen Hibden, Treasurer.
Now more than ever, President Trump needs battle-tested conservatives fighting alongside him to save our country. That's why Trump endorsed Matt Van Epps for Congress. West Point grad, 9 combat tours, decorated Army vet. Matt Van Epps has devoted his life to defending America and the conservative values we cherish. Endorsed by Trump, fearless conservative, Tennessee's Matt Van Epps for Congress. School Freedom Fund is responsible for the content of this ad.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. In studio, the very best Trump impersonator in the world, the one, the only, Sean Farash. Welcome, Sean.
Oh, it's always good to be here. Thank you. It's Wednesday. It's Trump Day.
Yeah.
It's an exciting day.
It's an exciting day. And, of course, you are a native of New York State. You were born and raised in Long Island.
Mm.
And you're very familiar with the politics of New York City.
Yes.
I've got a clip I'm going to play for you. There is a mayoral election happening in a couple weeks. And one of the leading candidate, the Muslim Marxist from Manhattan, Mamdani, this is a clip he's talking about his mother, who was basically a racist who hates white people. Really? Am I overstating it? Let's play it. Let's see.
Because my mother made a film called Mississippi Masala and met my father in the process of it. And at the time, she was looking for funding for that film, and she told the story. It was about a love story between an African-American man and an Indian-Ugandan woman. And she went up to a financier, and he said, where are the white actors in this story? And she said, don't worry, they'll be the waiters. And she taught me that if we...
Yeah. Now, don't worry, they'll be the waiters.
Well, this is what you're dealing with, and New York's about to get him. You know, there's a lot of people who are trying to either hold out hope or run some sort of last-minute campaign in support of Andrew Cuomo, which blows my mind. You know, I see a lot of this that's going on from people who never spent a day living in New York who are like, oh, we got to get the city to vote for Cuomo, so Mamdani. And I'm like, all right, look, I know why you're doing it, but you don't understand the way people feel about that man in that state and specifically in that city. Andrew Cuomo is not electable right now as mayor going up against Mamdani. I'm not saying Mamdani is a stellar candidate. I'm saying Cuomo is an awful candidate, and people haven't forgotten about it yet. Everyone who's asking Sliwa, drop out, as if all 19 of his percentage points are going to go to Cuomo intact, they don't understand that the folks that are voting for Curtis Sliwa, many of them would never pull the lever for Andrew Cuomo. It doesn't matter who he's running against. Mm-hmm. They'll just stay home.
You know, the thing about Andrew Cuomo is, here's a guy, a legacy guy, right? His father, Mario Cuomo, was 3-term governor of the state of New York. And he went up, and his desire, of course, was to be, actually his father, the dream job his father had, he wanted to be mayor of New York, but he lost Ed Koch, right? And his consolation prize was to be governor.
Right.
But Andrew Cuomo himself, he ran for attorney general, was elected, ran for governor, was elected, and then reports are he got a little handsy. And
that's why Curtis Lee, in the debate, said he doesn't understand what the word no means, which I thought was really funny. You know, I thought that was funny.
So if you look at the polls, I think, Mamdani has like 42 or 3%.
Yeah.
And then Cuomo's like 30%.
Yeah.
And then Sliwa's like 19%.
Yeah.
Sliwa's the Republican.
Yes.
Cuomo ran in the Democrat primary and lost.
Right.
And they don't have a runoff there. And they do this ranked choice voting, which is kind of screws things up. But still, he was sleepwalking through his campaign. Andrew Cuomo was not trying. He's kind of out of gas.
Yeah, he doesn't have as much pep in his step. And I think the problem with him is he can't be out there too much, because the more positive publicity he gets, the more, yeah, but old people during COVID he'll get. Yeah, but interns with your hands where they shouldn't have been. You know, yeah, but cashless bail. Like, you can't run on fixing crime. You are the reason why crime is a problem in New York City.
He promoted cashless bail.
He was the architect of that, and a very big, as you said, promoter of cashless bail in the state. We lived it. We said it when he was doing it. This is going to be bad, and sure enough, it's been real bad. So
yeah.
What is he gonna run on? Because everything that he's pledging to fix, he contributed to like 5 years ago. It wasn't like this was something that happened 20, 30 years and now downstream effects. And can you really trace it back to him? Like, he wasn't governor that long ago. 5 years ago, he was still the governor of New York State.
Megyn Kelly has some advice for Andrew Cuomo. Would you like to hear it?
Of course.
Here we go.
Muslim socialist Zohran Mamdani criticized Andrew Cuomo for not visiting a mosque. What in the actual F? Since when do American politicians have to go visit a mosque in order to be considered viable candidates for office? In New York, by the way, okay, 24 years after 9/11, it's at that. You have to go visit a mosque to be no, you don't. And Andrew Cuomo, grow a pair. Why don't you look over at him and say, I don't have to go visit a mosque, all right? I live in America. It's a Christian nation. I'm fine with Muslims, but I certainly don't need to go and listen to Allahu Akbar while people are on their knees 5 times a day in order to run this city. Zoran. It's like everybody was ridiculous last night. Curtis Lewa was the only one who you could possibly see doing this job. He was totally likable, but of course he has no chance because it's New York, and while they used to sometimes elect more moderate Republicans like Giuliani, and Bloomberg was at first, then went independent. Now they wouldn't. Now they just won't. They're intent on self-destruction. So this guy Zohran Mamdani is going to win, and then I guess we're all going to have to visit mosques if he has his vision.
Yeah, your thoughts on that? Megyn Kelly she's really laying it out there, isn't she?
Well, I mean, there are some things I agree with Megyn Kelly on. That's one of them. There are some things I disagree with slightly. I think she's on the right side of things. I think she's doing a phenomenal job. Her show, it's been a while. Unfortunately, I have to hold it against her. Every time I hear her voice, I remember the only Rosie O'Donnell in the debate clip, right? Donald Trump. She asked him the first question.
Well,
she did a good job there. She's right.
Fluid in some of her thoughts.
Sure. She's been fluid, but I think she brings up a good point. And Cuomo, like we said, he's not aggressive. It's like he's just going through the motions of running for mayor.
I think what happened is he had this sense of destiny.
Right.
He was going to be the governor of New York, and then he was going to be the president of the United States. That's what it was. That's what he was thinking. But the Greeks use the term hubris.
Yes. Yeah.
Unwarranted pride.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't get a double dose of hubris.
Oh.
He got a quintuple dose of hubris.
Oh, yes, he did.
And I'll tell you a little story about Cuomo. Because I grew up in Dannemora, New York.
Yeah.
A prison town.
Yes.
A state prison town.
That's where those guys escaped from, right?
Yes.
The ones that got up to the Canadian border?
I know the guys that work there. Like their dads were, when I was growing up, the dads my friends were prison guards. And then several of my friends became prison guards. And they're very hardworking guys. Andrew Cuomo just despises anybody who's not like an upper level New Yorker.
Mm-hmm.
And he flew in to little town of Dannemora, New York, just near the border, on a helicopter, and did a little PR thing. In essence, sort of saying, everybody up here is a knucklehead. I'm the only guy that can solve this problem. And he just was as insulting as you could possibly be. Mm-hmm. But that's his whole career.
Yeah, that's Andrew Cuomo. I mean, this is what we were up against during COVID. We started leading these huge protests, and he was getting real petty about it, shutting down parks and things.
Yeah.
I mean, we mailed him a Christmas card.
Do you remember?
We took a picture with a sign that says we identify as a group of 10 people or less, and there was 100 or 200 of us in it. That was our Christmas card to Andrew.
Do you remember the live press conferences he would hold during COVID?
Oh, they were horrible. So long.
But they were so long, and the mainstream press was fawning.
Oh, they were drooling and slobbering all
this
over
guy will
him.
be the next president.
Yeah, the love gov, the whole thing, right? It was. He was the first person I heard use the term new normal, and I took the Bluetooth speaker that the radio was coming through, and I threw it and broke it. I could not. I said, This is not going to be no new normal. We got to get rid of this guy.
Well, the new normal from Andrew Cuomo is losing.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, he lost the Democrat primary because he didn't try. And he didn't have the energy of say what you will about Mamdani being a disaster policy-wise. He is young.
He's vibrant.
He's glib.
Yep.
And he's articulate.
That's right.
For awful ideas.
Sure.
Which is kind of where the Democrat Party is going these days.
Par for the course.
We'll have more with Sean Farash after this.
EJ Host here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me. Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
This is Michael Patrick Leahy. Join Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, and Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs, and me at T-Bones and Politics 2025 on the evening of November 10th in Murfreesboro for a night of great food, good fellowship, and inspiring political speeches. Get your tickets now. They're going fast at tbonesandpolitics2025.com. This is a great annual event. This year, musical entertainment will be provided by the Tremolo Honey Band. If you haven't heard them before, they are absolutely fantastic. This special event is sponsored by Barrett Firearms, Old South SRM, Moody Excavating, Azure Flight Management, and SEC Engineers. So go right now to tbonesandpolitics2025.com and get your tickets for T-Bones and Politics. It's an evening of great food and fun on November 10th. I'll see you there. Paid for by Joe Pack, William Ronsley, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. In studio, the very best impersonator of Donald Trump in the world. The one, the only, Sean Farash. Like me, a native New Yorker. Like me now, a proud Tennessean. Sean, Donald Trump had a few words to say about the Mamdani race for mayor of New York. Let's play this right now.
Mr. President, a new poll shows that if Curtis Sliwa dropped out of the New York mayoral race, then Andrew Cuomo would only trail Mamdani by 4 points. Would you call Curtis Sliwa to drop out of the race so that can happen?
Well, I looked at the polls, and looks like we're going to have a communist as the mayor of New York. It'll be very interesting. But here's the good news. He's got to go through the White House. Everything goes through the White House, at least this White House it does. And we'll have to see what happens. But if he dropped out, he's not going to win. And not looking too good for Cuomo either. But maybe, I don't know, if he dropped out, maybe Cuomo would have a little bit of a chance, but not much. Because it looks like the lead is, it's not a great lead, but it's big enough that he should be able to win. So, I don't know that I want to get involved. It's really a question of, would I rather have a Democrat or a communist? And I would rather have a Democrat than a communist.
Will you meet with Mamdani if he wins?
Yeah, I'll speak to him.
Mr. President,
I have an obligation to speak to him. But look, I love New York. I've always loved New York. I just can't believe a thing like this is happening. I left New York, and we had a mayor, de Blasio, who was a disaster. But when I left, it was sort of before he could really take hold. And boy, New York was a hot city, and now it's sad to see what's happening, frankly. And with the communists in charge, look, you just go back 1,000 years. I mean, it's been done many times, 1,000 years. It's never worked once.
Never worked once. You've fled New York State, Long Island, for the very many of the same reasons that Trump left New York City. It's sad, but it's reality, isn't it?
It is. It is. It definitely is. There's a lot of folks who live there right now, and Kathy Hochul is pretty close to being a communist too. The tax rate, the cost of living, the politics, the cashless bail, the look the other way on crime, especially illegal immigration, MS-13 problem that exists in areas of Long Island and other parts of the state. There's just a lot of shady stuff that goes on in New York, and it's a beautiful state. Upstate, it's an unbelievable part of the state. Long Island, obviously, is just amazing beaches and things of that magnitude. But when you get to the city, and that's where the population is concentrated, and generally, whichever way the city goes, the rest of the state, unfortunately, has to follow, and it has led the state into a really bad place.
Why?
You can't be successful. You have a business, you're running a small business, you're paying through the nose and all sorts of unnecessary red tape and taxes and all. They want to hold you down in that state, and it's a shame because the people there are some of the hardest working people I've ever met.
Yeah.
Working 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Yeah. They don't want to be held down. They're working to make ends meet. Burning themselves out, and the state rewards them with more taxes.
I saw a couple statistics. One said there's a lot of public housing in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
I saw one statistic that said 30% of public housing is occupied by foreign-born people. That doesn't surprise you, does it?
No, and that's why we've been saying it literally for decades. If you import the third world, you become the third world. Do you know that among native-born Americans in New York City, Mamdani loses by a healthy margin? But when it comes to foreign-born Americans, I have the numbers.
Yeah, this is fascinating.
It is. Tell
me the
crazy.
details.
So let me just pull up these numbers. This came from a poll. I'm going to get the pollster in just a moment. But the idea was that foreigners are dominating the vote. Folks who are foreign-born. Here are the numbers. And this is in a 3-way race.
Who did the poll on
this? This was from Patriot Polling. New York City mayor election poll. American-born New Yorkers, Cuomo, 40, Mamdani, 31, Sliwa, 25. So, Sliwa is closer to Mamdani than Mamdani is to Cuomo in that scenario from American-born New Yorkers. Among foreign-born New Yorkers, Mamdani, 62.
Yeah.
Cuomo 24, Sliwa 12. Okay, so the foreigners who have made New York City their home, foreign-born legal American voters, are voting in favor of the communist, the Muslim Marxist from Manhattan, right? They're voting for him in huge numbers. And so this gets back to this. Is diversity really our strength? I'm not saying that we shouldn't welcome people to come to our country, but my goodness.
They're not assimilating.
You import the third world, you become the third world, and that is literally what's happening in New York City.
Can I go back to that poll? What percentage of the voting population is foreign-born?
That it did not.
I can probably figure that out.
That did not tell us.
It's probably at least a third, I would say.
Probably.
Yeah, but okay. So what this says to me is that there's no assimilation happening.
No.
In New York City, that is the explanation right there. And so it's going to become what do you think? Well, first, Mamdani is likely to win. Right?
Yeah, I mean the chances. I saw the chances on like a Poly Market or a betting website only around 87%. I'm like, that's too low. This is a damn near certainty.
Yeah. Okay, so he gets sworn in.
By the way, you were right. I just asked ChatGPT. It ran a search. I couldn't find a reliable figure for what percentage of the voting eligible population in New York City is foreign-born, but the data does show that about 36% of the city's total population is foreign-born.
Okay.
So about a third.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So that tells us that the foreign-born people who live in New York City who are going to vote don't believe in America.
That's right.
That's
exactly what it tells us.
You know, if you go back in a history of the United States, the foreign-born population of the United States, reached a peak in about 1920, about 15%. A lot of people from Eastern Europe were coming in. Irish had come in, of course, a little bit before that.
Yep.
And the Congress said, whoa, we're not assimilating this population enough. And so in 1920, they put on immigration controls. And really, nobody got into the United States from 1920 to 1965.
I would love that.
But guess what happened in 1965? Guess who opened up the doors once again? Guess who was the sponsor of that legislation?
Oh, why do I want? I don't know if it's
go with it.
Jimmy Carter?
Even worse.
Worse.
Senator Edward M. Kennedy.
Oh, okay.
That's the guy who championed it. And then it's been, just...
Who was the president at that time?
65 would have been Lyndon Johnson.
Lyndon Johnson, okay.
Yeah, Lyndon Johnson. So, but it was, there've been all of these immigration, quote, reform laws that have come about that have led to now, I think the number, our foreign-born population of the United States is like around 16%.
Yeah. But they're not assimilating is the problem.
Not only that, though, Sean, it's not just that they're not assimilating. It's that they don't want to assimilate.
Well, you wondered now.
That would have been different even back in 1900.
You wonder now, seeing that stat, okay? If I was a foreign country that didn't like the United States, I would send people here, go live in the U.S.
Just to
and just go destroy.
Yeah.
Go vote for the worst people in the elections, and you get some money on the side, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that every single foreign-born New Yorker, but you think it's a pretty good strategy. You're not firing a shot. You're not even getting. Someone's coming in the United States from, let's say, China, Russia, Iran, wherever, and they settle here. They bring their family here. They're better off than they are in their country
by a lot.
Okay, and they do it all legally. Now they're voting. They've gotten theirs. It takes a while, but you're looking at maybe the fruits of the labor of doing all that.
Well, the other part about this, in terms of the foreign-born influence, unassimilated foreign-born citizens and non-citizens and illegals. If you look at Los Angeles, I mean, the report is at least 10% of the population of Los Angeles is illegal aliens.
That's unbelievable.
And
why is the cost of housing so high? Because you have 20 to 40 million people who shouldn't be here.
In Los Angeles, the mayor, Karen Bass, has said, well, we have a different view of the world. We think illegal aliens are part of our community and belong to be here. When you have that, this is not solvable.
No, well, then you don't have a border.
You don't have a border.
So then open up your front door and lets anybody in the world come stay with you.
Trump has done a very good job of closing the door.
Yeah.
But the problem is there are still about 20 million, or were at the beginning of his administration, 20 million illegal aliens here. And look, we talked, if you look at the Tennessee Star right now, we have 2 stories about illegal alien criminals just being arrested in Nashville and in Memphis. Illegal aliens have a very high propensity of illegal activity.
Their first act is illegal, despite what Don Lemon says.
Yeah,
yes.
their first act is illegal. It's a misdemeanor, but it's against the law. It's a criminal violation.
Yeah.
But so many of these people, of these illegal aliens, live by crime. We had an 18-year-old Honduran illegal alien arrested in a high-speed chase because the vehicle he was driving was one that had been seen in a number of burglaries, and he was found, and they had weapons and all sorts of stuff like that, burglary tools, and then in the sweep in Memphis, 11 illegal aliens, and you should look at the picture of these guys. These guys look like thugs,
of course,
and they're drug possession, all that sort of stuff. They look at this and they say, "What a bunch of chumps! What a bunch of lazy chumps! They are letting us in, and we're stealing stuff from them." And a quarter of the population is saying, "Oh,
keep them.
Nice. Yeah,
they're nice.
Keep these illegal. They're nice."
Wow.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That is the problem. You said it, the problem is not fixable. The left believes that they all have a right to be here, and they don't. They don't.
When we come back, Sean, I know you're going to love this. News Potpourri. Back after this.
Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Chenille Sheeran here, inviting you on behalf of Senator Mark Pody to join us for his community re-election kickoff this Saturday, October 25th from 11 to 2, right here in Lebanon. Visit markpody.com for more information. We're excited to welcome Dr. Ben Graham, appointed by President Trump as Faith Director for the U.S. Department of the Interior. As your current state senator, Mark leads with faith, stands for family and freedom, supports our schools, protects our children, and fights to keep Tennessee strong. Paid for by Campaign Mark Pody, Kristen Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Sean Frosh in studio, the very best Trump impersonator in the world. Hugely successful.
Hugely bigly.
Bigly successful. You know, Sean, it's that time of day. It's time for News Potpourri. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program we talk about those stories that are of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, and may have a touch of
irony.
There's a certain governor in the United States who hates Donald Trump.
Okay,
and
we're down to about 20.
Yeah, and is huge.
All right, we're down to 1.
Yeah, his initials are
Jiggly Belly.
That's right.
Yeah.
So here's what he had to say about the No Kings March.
For that, this is a moment when literally
Look at
everything
him,
is
how
on the
big
line.
he
I
is.
think you saw, what did we see, 16, 17 million people around the country go out and protest last weekend because they understand.
Oh, wow. There goes a block of cheese in orbit right around him. Look at that.
Really? And he's grabbed it.
That's it.
And he's about to
He's devouring
chomp down
that
on
cheese.
it.
Yeah.
There were not 17 million people.
No.
At No Kings.
17 million. I don't think so.
There maybe a couple million.
He may have had 17 million cream puffs before that interview, but there were not 17 million people.
I would think you're probably right.
Yeah.
About that.
I think so.
We got a weird story. The Supreme Court is going to take up this case. Let me tell you the story. So, Alaska, very big. Right?
Huge. Biggest land, geographically biggest state in the country.
A lot of people get around by flying airplanes, right? So this guy has a Cessna airplane, and he flies people around.
Like a bush pilot.
Yeah, like a bush pilot. His Cessna airplane is worth like $95,000.
Okay.
And one lady hired him because she was in a remote community and wanted to go to the grocery store, like, 50 miles away.
You got to take a plane to the grocery store?
In this case, yeah.
Okay.
So she went to the grocery store. Now, she lived in what's called a dry community. In other words, where they
can't have alcohol.
Well, I don't know if you can't
sell
buy it. You can't buy it or sell it.
Sell it, right.
So she went to a grocery store, and she bought her groceries, and she got a 6-pack of beer.
Okay.
Which she put in her bag. Well, the Alaska State Police inspected this trip. They inspected the plane before the pilot took off. They arrested the woman on a misdemeanor.
Huh.
Apparently it's a misdemeanor in Alaska to have beer in your plane, even if you're just transporting it. But wait, there's more. They seized the $95,000 Cessna.
What?
Yeah.
That's not the pilot's fault.
I'm just telling you, according to the Alaska
State
nuts.
Police. You know what they should do? They should put Lisa Murkowski in jail, not this pilot. My goodness.
Well, it's Alaska court, Alaska. But the point is, the Supreme Court's going to take up this case.
Okay.
6-3. Maybe
6-3.
I don't know. Maybe 8-1.
So Ketanji would be the lone,
I would think.
Okay.
It's going to be 6-3, 7-2, or 8-1.
Yeah.
It would seem to me. Right.
That this whole thing is going to get tossed.
Well,
it's ridiculous.
I would think so. It's
Yeah.
it's not a proper seizure of property.
I would say probably not, right?
Yeah.
Was that Fourth Amendment?
Fourth Amendment.
Fourth Amendment. Yeah.
You're good on
Yeah.
your. Yeah, it's the Fourth Amendment.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
We know that because we have here right in the studio our copy of the U.S. Constitution and the State of Tennessee Constitution.
Yes, there it
and
is.
of course, our Guide to the Constitution and Bill of Rights for secondary school students.
There you go.
Got a whole chapter on it.
Yep.
Fourth Amendment.
There it is.
Okay, so this is kind of an odd story. Nissan has a new electric-powered car.
Okay.
It's solar power. No gas, no plugs.
Solar power. Okay, what is the roof like solar panels? What happens if what happens if the birds crap on it? What then? You can't drive?
I think you're SOL.
Oh!
Pretty
Hit
good.
the rim shot.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I like that. That's funny. That's a better joke than the New York Jets. Wow.
We're gonna have to go there.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to go there.
Gonna have to go there. We do another knock knock joke this week?
Knock.
Who's there? Owen.
Owen who?
Owen 7.
Owen 7. 0-7. Yeah, we'll do that every week.
Woody Johnson says he sees hope in the team. I said, what hope do you see in no wins, Woody? He needs to sell this team.
Why would he sell it?
Just to stop getting. That's the thing. We have to publicly bully him into selling it so that he stops getting shamed in public. There need to be protests. I'm going back to New York and I'm organizing anti-Woody Johnson protests.
If he were to sell it,
yeah,
he bought it how long ago? Like 20 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, I think
he would
around
make
then.
a huge profit.
Huge profit.
Yeah,
and get out of public eye. No one likes him. You know,
he's the ambassador to the United Kingdom right now.
Is he again?
I think so.
Oh, why?
Or maybe not. Maybe not.
I don't know.
He maybe in Trump 1.0.
Yeah, 1.0 he was. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
good
just I want him to sell the team. Be the former owner of the New York Jets. He's got to go.
Yeah,
so bad.
Yeah. Well, speaking of bad, so Amy Adams Strunk, who controls the Tennessee Titans now.
Mm-hmm.
Who persuaded, the taxpayers, the Tennessee General Assembly, and the taxpayers in the city of Nashville to give her like $500 million
for the new stadium.
Mm-hmm. By the way, we were absolutely opposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's shown her judgment again because she fired Mike Vrabel as coach. Remember?
Right,
a year and a half ago.
Yep, which was a dumb thing. Now look at the
now
Patriots.
he's like 5-2 with the Patriots.
5-2 with the Patriots. Yeah,
and so he comes back here, and they've already fired his replacement, Brian Callahan. 4-19.
Yeah.
They stomped the Patriots like 33-14, something like that. They stomped the Titans, the Patriots did. And you know what the crowd was shouting at the end?
Bring back Mike.
Vrabel! 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 And on
go.
that happy note, Sean Farage, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Great job. And we'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock Central Time. I hope you have a great day.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door that that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent my entire career in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every single month, as much of that as we possibly can goes back to them when they go to list and sell that home. The idea is to give homeowners the ability to really create generational wealth.
Flatfeenashville.com, flatfeenashville.com.